There is silverware being given out today here on the Sunday game. Down south, a long-standing, almost annual rivalry in football. While here at Croke Park, it is a provincial first in championship hurling.
Of the trophy. He's anxious to play in the 2017 Munster football final. And certainly they do. They've got a chance. And it'll be Cork bound for the Munster final.
Kerry have it all to do. That's a great run. Two jinks. Chance of a goal for O'Brien. Absolutely fantastic goal. A wonderful finish. Kerry will get out of Cusick Park alive to the Munster final.
Year of Galway's residency in Leinster, favourites for the All-Ireland on the back of that demolition of Tipperary in the league final. Cooney, Micheál Donoghue's Galway sail into the Leinster final.
The intensity already there to be seen. It might work out now here for Harry Keogh, and it's been saved, but the ball has been put in by David Redmond. There it is. Wexford have beaten Kilkenny in the Leinster Championship for the first time since 2004.
It's the first two provincial finals of the 2017 campaign. Cork travelled to Killarney today looking for their first championship win over Kerry in 5 years. Kerry seeking a fifth provincial title on the trot, and that is at 2 o'clock. And following that, here at Croke Park, a unique occasion. It's a first ever Leinster hurling final between Galway and Wexford. The men from the southeast hoping to win the provincial title for the first time since 2004. The throw-in here at Croke Park is at 4 o'clock. Hello and welcome on this special day in the championship. A summer certainly has had plenty of great action and plenty of big talking points already. And here to do the talking today, first about hurling, we welcome Gerlach Nan, Ken McGrath and Henry Shefflin. I'm sure lads all looking forward to this big day here at Croke Park. And Henry, of course, from your point of view, you know what this is all about, having played in so many Leinster finals. But let me just take you back to give people a flavour of what it's like to win Leinster, which Galway and Wexford are going to be seeking to do today. Your own thoughts on that first win?
Yeah, I think in life in general, there's nothing like your first experience of doing something. And for me, it was back in the 90s, Mike. It was a long time ago, but we played at Offaly here in the Leinster final, and it was a massive occasion for myself and for the team as well.
Because, of course, Kilkenny hadn't been going that well up to that period.
No, we hadn't. We obviously lost the All-Ireland the year previously against Offaly, so it was a massive. But for a new player like myself, it was a whole new experience. You know, the build-up to the parade, everything is kind of new. And it's very similar for the Wexford players today. You know, none of them have experienced this Leinster final before. And for me, it was that some of my older colleagues actually took me aside before the match and said, look, take it easy, first 20 minutes, just keep it very, very simple and ease yourself into the game. And that's what it did. And, you know, it was a brilliant. I ended up getting a goal, actually, in the second half. DJ Kerry threw me a hand pass for about 40 yards. And it was just it was something that I look back and it's a special moment in my career, you know.
As I have no doubt the Galway and the Wexford players will do, and of course, Gerlach Nan, you have been through that, not in Leinster, of course, but with Clare and that kind of experience, I suppose, or journey, if you like, that Wexford are hoping to go on now, of making that breakthrough.
Yeah, and you know, what Henry says there, when you do make the breakthrough, the feeling, I suppose the first is of relief that you have done it, but of absolute elation, especially the longer the gap is, of course, the greater the elation is, you know. And you know, it is a difficult task for Wexford today. There's no doubt about that on a number of fronts. But if you take when Clare made the breakthrough, it was an awful long time since that. But they had played in two Munster finals. The core of the team had played in the two previous Munster finals, you know, and they'd played in Thurles. Now, Wexford are coming here today, not having played in Croke Park. And Ken, we were just looking out at the field there today, and the difference between here, we'll say, and Wexford Park or Nolan Park, in size and in pace, is absolutely massive. So a big challenge facing them, but They have the right man to guide them.
Size, pace and condition, Ger. The pitch is like a carpet out there. Now, I know we say this so often about Croke Park, but it's actually unreal.
Yeah, it is, and it's so different to any other place you play in. You know, and anyone that has played here, it's just so different. And it's adjusting to that for the Wexford players, that they're not overawed, first of all, when they come out there, on your first time playing there. Very easy for that to happen. But adjusting to the pace of the field. It's wider. It's maybe a bit longer than Nolan Park. Definitely way faster than Wexford Park. So a big adjustment there for them. So a huge challenge. Galway have been here for the last 2 years through Leinster finals. Yeah. They've been here in All Ireland, so they're well used to this place. So they have an advantage on that count. But with Davy in charge, he'll have thought of all that. He'll have covered all that, advised them on all that.
But as well as that, for the players, like you even see it outside as we were coming in, the Wexford supporter up here in such numbers.
Oh yeah.
There's such momentum. There is a buzz, and they seem to be playing with no inhibitions. You know,
sure.
They're up in Division 1. They bet Kilkenny. They're in the Leinster final, so it can be an added bonus for them to go out and just totally express themselves.
That's actually great to see. And we haven't, of course, seen it, Ken, for a couple of years here with Wexford. I live on the Dublin-Wicklow border, so all the Wexford supporters come that way. And when I was leaving the house this morning at 11 o'clock, there were droves of them going past.
Yeah, look, I think it's a massive day for them, but I think the Kilkenny game in Wexford Park was huge. That game has been talked about for a good few months, so the pressure that day was very high, and they performed. So I don't think that will affect them maybe today. As Gerard said, look, it's a different pitch in Croke Park. Henry was so used to it. Probably took even the Wolver team I played on 3 or 4 times to really produce our level of performance out there. But I think that day showed that there's a mentality in this Wexford team that's a bit different than maybe the last few years. And Davy, look, he gets things right in finals. Probably took him a while to really get the hang of gearing a team up for a final. But his record is very good. And I'd say the Wexford lads can't wait to get out there, and the support they have is massive, absolutely massive.
Well, the support coming in, there's a right character across the road there in Clonliffe where you park, you know, coming in, he says, Gerard, the Wexicans are here today, you know, and like, isn't it a great name for Wexford, like, you know, because with the Mexicans, you know, if you look at the Mexicans with their sombreros and bandanas and their enthusiasm and their optimism, and, you know, and the life they bring, like Wexford are like that. They're out there in all their colour. When you look here now, you see nothing. But outside, the place is strong with Wexford
that's
people.
What you want.
I'd say if they win the Leinster title today, there'll be a fair few Wexicans around this evening.
I might go home
now, as we alluded to here, by the way, the man, of course, given so much of the credit for Wexford's recent hurling revival is their manager, Davy Fitzgerald. Marty Morrissey caught up with his fellow countymen recently to discuss life so far in the sunny southeast.
Being realistic, I knew after the Galway game last year that I needed a change from Clare myself. I think the team will tell you that. I was actually content enough to go. I was, so the break didn't last too long though.
No. And just let me deal with Clare. Do you miss Clare?
Of course I do. There's 1 or 2 bits of it I don't miss. Naturally, it was tough enough the last year or two, which I thought was totally unwarranted.
The criticism?
It was, yeah. Some of it was over the top, but I know where that came from. I suppose I did take it a lot more personal with Clare, because I don't feel I've anything to prove to anyone as regards management.
So, you decided to come to Wexford. What did you find?
I knew after the first night that they were mad for it, that if you can get a team that are going to give you 110% and will buy into everything you ask them, you have a chance, no matter how bad it is. But the day they start thinking that they know more or that the team knows more, then you know in the management circles you're in trouble. You've got to get out of town. We had a lot of things that I wanted to try and change, and I came into them and I did, but they work extremely hard, so they do. The hunger here to just get to the top table is massive. That enthusiasm actually lifted me no end as well.
Davy Fitzgerald has come on. Niall O'Mara told him to move off. Well, he's absolutely incensed.
Did you find the suspension difficult to deal with?
Listen, no, I deserve to be suspended, 100%. I could have been, I thought, done for encroachment onto the field. I didn't go to go near any Tipperary player. I think you'll see that I didn't. You have to accept your medicine sometimes. I prefer not to have got it, but it is what it is, and hopefully it won't happen again. You can never say never, but hopefully it won't.
What about the game against Kilkenny in that memorable evening in Wexford Park?
I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed the game. That was a manly game. There was a lot of hits. Both teams had given every single thing they had there.
But there it is! Fergal Fergal Horgan blows the whistle, and Wexford have beaten Kilkenny in the Leinster Championship for the first time since 2004.
It was a fantastic occasion. I just remember seeing the Wexford supporters afterwards, and you'd wonder why you get involved in hurling. That's why. As I said, I didn't envisage us making the progress we made, you know, and there will come a lull. It might be today. I don't know what the story is, but I do know over the next few years this team, if they stay working hard, will be there or thereabouts, and that's all you can ask for.
Well, you've been there. You've been All-Ireland finals, won All-Ireland finals, player manager, Munster finals. How do you feel about Sunday's Leinster final?
It's probably the only
that's true.
one I haven't been involved in before is the Leinster hurling final, and I'm actually so excited about it that I am, and we know what we're up against, and we will be very novice compared to what they have gone through. In saying that, do I think we have a chance? Of course you have a chance, but I think it's down to the start. I think the first 20-25 minutes is everything. If we can hang in there for that, we'll have a chance. But they're the type of team, they'll open you up very rapid, you know. Their forwards are nippy and lively and fast. Their backs are very strong and solid. Like, physically, they're one of the strongest teams that's out there, you know. They are the farm team. But when you're in opposition, you look forward to something like that, you know, as having a go at the best team that's out there. Listen, I'm enjoying it. I'll keep trying to do my best for the lads, but 99% of the team talks will be the same as I'm talking to you now. They might need every now and again
An odd David Fitz special.
An odd special, but I want the lads to go out. It's their day. I want them to enjoy it. I want them to express themselves, and I want them more or less give other teams hope that haven't got the finals in a long time, and that, listen, you can get there. I think that's very important. But, you know, let's keep it going and see where it brings us. I don't know. For them lads that have worked so hard, I want this to be a good day for them.
Yeah, he is an All-Ireland winning manager, of course, but today Davy Fitz is hoping to add another milestone to the list. Gerard Gnan, obviously. You know what Davy Fitz brings to a dressing room. And I guess the outside perception that everybody has, that it's fire and brimstone and all that. And I'm sure there's a bit of that about it as well. What's he doing to Wexford?
Well, you see, that's the thing about it, Michael. You know, I was with Davy for 5 or 6 years when he was the goalie for Clare. I'd have never seen this coming, you know, because he was... Believe it or not, he was very quiet in the dressing room. You had a lot of very strong characters in that dressing room.
Yeah.
Davy was a man who kept to himself and did his own job, and he trained himself. Now, he was thoroughly professional. And when the day came, he had a nice, cool temperament. Now, he'd run out onto the field and belt the crossbar, and all that kind of... People thought he was crazy, you know. But he was ice cool. But the one word I'd associate him is fearless. Davy is fearless in that he has no regard for his own safety facing a ball or anything when he was playing. He was totally fearless. So when he became a manager, he has brought organised. He has really studied it. He has dedicated his life to this. He has really studied it. But above all, he has his own way of playing, and he believes 100% in that way. That everybody else is wrong, nobody else knows what he's doing. He believes firmly in that, and he instills that belief then in the players that he's in charge of. And they buy into it. He is inspirational in the way he can get people to buy into it. And people that buy into what he does, they would do anything for him. So I suppose that's the great thing about him, that he has that inspirational quality and he has so many willing followers, which is the real sign of a leader.
It is, and Ken, they are buying into it, because talking to people from Wexford, and particularly they're saying to me that the younger players love what Davy's doing with them at the moment. And it is that kind of thing. As long as they're on a journey, it'll work. And it's working at the moment.
Yeah, no, I don't remember his team talks as calm as that. But no, I think he's after developing as a manager over the years. When he came to Waterford first, it was his first step into senior management. It's a massive step up. But look, Wexford are starving for success. It's 13 years since they won the Leinster Championship. And these young lads see Davy coming down, who's after winning the league, after winning All-Ireland with Clare, Munster Championship with us. So he has a proven track record. And they see this and jumped on it. And you'd probably feel a small bit sorry for Liam Dunn, who put a massive effort in for 4 or 5 years, got to 2 quarter-finals as well. But momentum is huge, and momentum in hurling is massive. And with a county like Waterford or Wexford, if the ball gets rolling and things start happening, it could take off. And it's great to see him so relaxed and really enjoying the hurling. He seems to be really happy and a perfect fit for Wexford at the moment. And I'd say he can't wait for the lads getting that pitch.
That's the feeling I get about it. He is a perfect
for
fit.
the younger players, Michael, you can understand. We're looking, like watching the Sunday game, looking at Davy winning All-Irelands, looking at him leading Clare to an All-Ireland. For a younger player, Davy, he is big profile in the hurling world.
Of course.
And next thing he's in, and Davy's telling you, you're doing great, you're improving, you're going to make this team. It does lift you.
You believe.
You absolutely believe. And he has got them all totally bought in, as Gerard said, you know.
That's still mad about him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because it is his life. So he's putting everything, he's talking to those players during the day, he's making sure they're feeling well outside of hurling. And I think if you're good outside of hurling, you're performing the field as well.
There is a contrast, of course, to the Galway manager. Also an excellent manager. Micheál Donoghue, very calm, very sort of concise about the way he goes about things. No fire and brimstone there, but he's doing a good job at Galway.
Absolutely. I think, it's been a perfect fit. Galway are at a different stage than Wexford are. Wexford are the low ebb, and they have to get up here. Galway are up here, but they have to take that small little step at the end to get over the line. I think, you know, he's doing the word you hear out of them is consistency. Out of Wexford, it's all enthusiasm, motivation, fly around the place. It's consistency, and that's what he's building into him. And he's a consistent team, they're playing a consistent style, and they're going about it. It's just another game. It's another game to get to that final game. And I think he's done a great job.
And he has got very demanding on the sideline. You know, when he started first, he was kind of staying back. But now, if you saw in the league final, the games up to now, he is demanding, you know, that they have a way of playing, and he wants them to win. That's it. So there is a bit of steel in that velvet glove. There is good steel.
And
in him
with Davy, we all love to see the cameras and flying around the place. But for Galway, I think they're at a different stage, and they just need Michael to get him over the line. So he's not great television, but it's not about that. It's about his team delivering.
It's about the cup.
Yes.
Okay, for the moment then, we are going to give our hurling guests a little bit of a break. I suppose they probably might want to watch the football as well.
We need them coming.
I knew what the answer was going to be.
Turn around.
But anyway, here on the programme, coming up next, we will be turning our attention to today's Munster final in Killarney, a venue where Cork haven't actually beaten Kerry in over 20 years.
There's a wonderful sense of occasion. A moment of mental fortitude required for Colin Corkery. Don Davis. Here's Don Davis.
You like coming to Killarney, do you? Oh, I love it. This is a place to be, Kerry. It's great to see you. Oh, it's
The Rebels versus the Kingdom is a football rivalry like no other. Intense battles of epic proportions. The Munster football final is, of course, steeped in tradition.
To pull with one hand is a gesture of the heroic.
Dennis Allen. Oh, it's a great goal!
Man-made and defiant. The stillness of the sea.
They passed into Pat Spillane.
Supports the illusion, allows the fantasy. For those are the terms of the old game played.
Absolutely unbelievable!
Between the known terror of life and the unknown thrill of the trough.
It's all over. Kerry are still the Munster champion.
Where the Curragh knows its fantasy and survives. It's the Munster final, Cork versus Kerry.
It certainly is, and joining me here in our studio right now, it is Colin O'Rourke and Joe Brawley. Colin O'Rourke, described by a fellow panellist as the godfather of Gaelic games recently.
Anybody who saw the Godfather films, though, would know most of the Godfathers got bumped off.
It's an honour.
It's an honour
for me to be here on this auspicious day for you.
Thank you very much.
To defend the Godfather, probably. We're showing the clips there and the teasers going into all of this, and everybody knows about the rivalry in Munster finals between Cork and Kerry. But in actual fact, the stats put a different slant on it, if you like, because as everybody also knows, Kerry have pretty much dominated these proceedings.
Yeah, you're quite right, Michael. It's the odd Cork rebellion, but for the most part of over 100 years, Kerry saunter either to Cork or down to Killarney, beat Cork and get on with it then, and come to Croke Park then to win multiple All-Ireland. So it's been really a one-way street. Kerry are now going for 5 in a row. There was a period in the 80s under Billy Morgan when Cork, either in Páirc Uí Chaoimh or in Killarney, were well fit to put it to Kerry and beat them on a very regular basis. And Kerry people thought for a while there would never be a sunny day again. But again, that's all gone. Sure. Cork are just a relic of what they were in the past. But there was signs in the second half against Tipperary that there was a bit of spirit in the team when they threw caution to the wind, shook off this straitjacket they had for the first half and started to play with abandon.
And they had to.
And they had to. Yeah. And hopefully they will do it from the start today.
Not only do they come second in that record between the two of them, Joe, but they don't have a good record, of course, in Killarney, which is another issue about today. And of course, they wish they were playing in Cork, which they were supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, it only remains for them to follow Down's example from last Saturday night. You know, championship football in its essence is about, you know, I noticed Jimmy McGuinness was talking about this during the week before he flew off to Beijing.
Yeah.
And actually I did a Google search to translate Jimmy's winning matches into Chinese. But Jimmy was saying, look, that's what Gaelic football is, what Down did. That's living. Yeah. You know, that's what it is. You pour everything into it. You don't think of tomorrow. There are no distractions. Because Gaelic games are a very emotional thing. There's a very emotional contract between a team and its people. So I was in McHale Park last night, you know, and I'm very, very passionate about Derry, and I found myself at times roaring, jumping off my feet. But the Mayo supporters throughout that game, even when it looked as though Derry were going to beat them, which would for another county, say a Kerry or Dublin, be a terrible humiliation.
Yeah.
They roared them on and they encouraged and exhorted, and I believe that got them through. And afterwards, the scenes wherever the Mayo people spilled onto the pitch and invaded the pitch, that's what the games are about in the end. And there's that emotional contract. Yeah. And in the rush to play formulaic football and systems and all, a lot of that's been forgotten in Gaelic football, whereas it's been preserved in the hurling. Yeah. So the hurling's still blood and thunder. Cork need to bring blood and thunder today.
Yeah, I agree with all that. OK, now I have to say that I've also always enjoyed my trips to Killarney, but today it's Claire McNamara who has made that trip, and I am sure that she is looking forward to today's big match.
Yes, Michael, this place really comes alive on Munster final day. As you can see, some of the greats of Kerry football adorn the walls in the tunnel here at Fitzgerald Stadium. With Páirc Uí Chaoimh still under construction, Cork are back here this year. They haven't won a championship game in Killarney over 12 games, stretching back over 22 years. Kerry, big favourites to make it 5 Munster titles in a row. We're going to hear from the camps shortly, but first, let's go up to the commentary box and get the team news from Ger.
Thank you very much indeed, Claire. Yes, as you say, Kerry are the overwhelming favourites once again. So it's a big task, Martin, facing Cork.
Yeah, but it's a day for Cork to be inspired, Ger, and to meet the Kerry challenge. I think myself, like, they must forget the games against Tipperary and Waterford. I think they will perform, but ultimately I think Kerry will win.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Let's check the team news then. Starting with Kerry, they have Brian Kelly in goal, his 8th Munster Championship match against the Rebels. In the full back line, local hero Fionn Fitzgerald will ever be remembered for scoring that dramatic late equaliser here in the 2015 drawn final. Well, it's a 30th Championship match for Shane Enright. Still in just his 2nd season, Kerry start Tadhg Morley at number 6, with Peter Crowley and Paul Murphy expected to be very busy on the flanks. The Kingdom will have David Moran, who missed the match against Clare, and Anthony Marr as their centre field pairing. In the half forwards, Kerry give a Munster final start to Kevin McCarthy of Kilcommon, while Donncha Walsh is playing in his 50th championship game, a day shy of his 33rd birthday. And up front, Paul Gainey was man of the match in last year's Munster final, and James O'Donoghue, who took Cork for 10 points in the 2014 final, link up with the towering Kieran Donaghy. This is the 5th provincial final match for Cork goalkeeper Ken O'Halloran, including the replay 2 years ago. He's fronted by a full back line which includes James Lockery, the former Antrim star, and teenager Sean Powtry, who may very well play among the midfielder half-forwards. The half-back line includes 31-year-old Michael Shields, who played in his first Munster final 11 years ago. A tie Cork won after a second game was needed, and then Kevin Crowley is there in his first ever Munster final. Ian Maguire played his best game in a Cork senior shirt against Tip. Today he lines up alongside former All-Star Aidan Walsh. Cork's semi-final was transformed by the energy provided by Mark Collins. Today he's flanked by Rory Deane and Kevin O'Driscoll. In the full forward line, there's a change today, a debut in there at corner forward for Niall Coakley, while Luke Connolly has been chosen to wear the number 14 jersey following his starring role against Tip. Well, it seems a tall order for Cork and for their manager, Padder Healy. And the other boss, Eamon Fitzmaurice, has the task of managing Kerry expectations. They've been chatting with Claire.
Eamon, Munster final day in Killarney, always special, and Kerry big favourites giving Cork's recent troubles.
Yeah, I always laugh when I hear about big favourites. Sure, we've seen plenty of times in the championship already this year, Claire, that the favourites have gone under. Even last night, Derry seriously put it up to Mayo in McHale Park. So we know that goes out the window in any game, but in particular in the Kerry-Cork game. So we won't be paying much attention to that, to be honest.
There have been tough enough times for Cork. How have you and the players been coping?
No, they've been very good, especially now in the last couple of weeks, since we came back after the club games. They've been very focused, very determined, coming down here to Killarney today.
And a big opportunity to turn things around.
Sure, look, we've been written off, and that's great in its own place. But look, we're down here, Kerry are our arch rivals, and they always want to beat us from Killarney, and we always want to just, they don't want to record 20 years, we want to break that.
Well, that's the views of today's managers. I'm joined now by two men in Killarney who are very familiar with these scenic surroundings. Colm Cooper, owner of 10 Munster final football medals, and Daniel Goulding, of course, member of the last Cork team to win in Ireland in 2010. Colm, former Kerry players all week have been warning against complacency, but it's really hard to see anything other than a Kerry win today.
Yeah, and I think that's based on Cork's performances to date. They haven't been impressive against Waterford, they haven't been impressive against Tipperary, but look, Cork coming to Killarney, they love coming down here, they very rarely roll over too easy, so I expect a big reaction from Cork today. Looking on the evidence, Kerry look to have all the aces, and I expect them to win.
Daniel, you were involved here in 2015 when Cork drew. Seems like a long time ago, tough time since. Is this the lowest Cork have been coming to Killarney?
It probably is, and to be fair, I think 2 years ago we were coming into a similar situation, but probably the performances up to this game weren't as bad. Look, Cork have to throw caution to the wind at this game. They just have to go with the mentality that they have to prove everyone wrong, because they're being totally written off. They have a couple of key battles. Their full back line will have to play the game of their lives, and they'll have to get a stranglehold around midfield and stop the delivery of good ball into the forwards, because that's what Kerry will be looking for.
5 in a row on the line for Kerry. Are they vulnerable? Where are they vulnerable if they are?
Well, they're vulnerable if there's complacency in the squad. But Eamon Fitzmaurice and a lot of the team are around long enough to not understand that. I think Kieran Donaghy is a very interesting pick for Kerry. I think that's based on maybe the Cork full back line, maybe Owen Cadigan missing, who's generally done well enough on Kieran, but he's missing today. So I think that's a big pick for them. Up front, I just think Kerry hold too much.
Daniel, Cork have taken a lot of flack. Can they produce something special today?
Well, they'll have to, quite simply. If they don't, this game will be in trouble fast. But look, there's a lot of good players in that dressing room. They have a lot of pride in themselves as well, and I suppose you can only take so much criticism. And look, I'm sure the first 20-30 minutes Cork are going to lay down a serious marker here and take it from there.
OK, Daniel and Colm, thank you very much. Great atmosphere here as always. Michael, we're going to be underway shortly.
I'm sure there is, Claire. Tipperary were the surprise package of the Munster Football Championship last year. But of course today the Munster final has a more traditional look to it. The question is though, who will be taking the cup? Looking forward to this Munster football final in less than 10 minutes' time. Lads, we'll talk about Kerry in just a moment, but before that, a little more about Cork. Joe, you want to make a point about Cork's spirit in the team?
Well, again, it's that idea that Down have sort of brought back into stark relief. 2015, Cork really went for Kerry. They had no one expected them to perform. Kerry were the reigning All-Ireland champions and expected to kick on from there. And Cork hit them that day. And were very belligerent, very aggressive, very focused on the game. And whenever Kerry, Cork didn't win the game in the end because of one of the worst refereeing decisions in recent memory. Gave Kerry a penalty, but straight after the penalty, Cork came downfield and did that. And the game ended in a draw. But Cork really had done everything to win. against Tipperary, when Tipperary had scored the goal that looked as though it would win it, you saw the seeds of a revival in Cork's spirit. Look at this. It was reminiscent of the great Meath goal in the great 1991 series.
Yeah.
And I mean, the Cork hurlers have already begun the rebellion. You know, they beat the All-Ireland champions Tipperary. They beat Waterford, and here we see the scenes after they'd beaten Waterford. That joy, that delight, you know, and that shared journey, which is the essence of the GAA.
That's
I mean,
one
if
of
that
the wonderful
doesn't
sights there. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And it's in the
I was there that day, and it's even better, of course, in reality.
Yeah.
You know,
if that doesn't stir the rebel blood, you know, and that's what they must do. They must go for these words, because Kerry on paper, I mean, this is a great Kerry team.
Sure.
So.
But look, we heard the two lads there with Clare talking about the fact that Cork have to throw off the shackles and all this kind of thing, which indeed they will, because if we go back, Colm, to their previous match, they were in trouble for long periods of that.
Well, I think if the Cork team see Gucci's shirt on the way out for a start off, it'll definitely lift them, you know, because he's obviously off to Hawaii on holidays in the morning. But in the first half of the semi-final against Tipperary, Cork were pathetic. But the worst part of it was they wouldn't push up on the Tipperary kickouts, even though Cork were playing with a very strong wind. And when their backs were to the wall and they were going to be beaten, they threw caution to the wind, in the way some teams, when Joe talks about emotion, and this was pure emotion, and they got stuck in, forced long kick-outs, and they pounced on everything and drove forward from the middle of the field, and of course they culminated in that last-minute winning goal. But you could see fellas bursting through tackles in the second half when they were standing off in the first half. Now, the tactics the first half were just dreadful. So whoever changed them at half-time deserved credit, but they deserved no credit the first half, allowing Tipperary to take short kick-outs and Cork playing with a strong wind.
Yeah. Colm's point about pushing up, I mean, that's the litmus test of the motivation of a team. So, for example, in McHale Park, in extra time, once Mayo had started to... They pushed right up on Derry, and then the Derry kick-out collapsed, and they reeled off, you know, a series of scores to win the game. But it's a litmus test of your energy, your motivation, and all of that. And Cork need to be doing that.
Well, I always see that, Michael, just like even at club level, when we're playing with Simonstown, I always say to the lads before the game, it shows whether we're at it or not, whether we allow the opposition to take short kick-outs. Because if everybody's really tuned in, they don't allow that. But if you're just that little bit off, somebody drops off a man and you get caught.
Yeah. Speaking of pushing up, Kerry obviously are looking at the option of playing a ball or two in high into the Cork goalmouth, because I'm interested in Kieran Donaghy's selection.
Well, Kieran remains the most sort of devastating full forward of his generation. You know, I mean, he's proven that, and you know, he's got a brilliant attitude. He's defiant. Whenever things have gone wrong for Kerry in the past, he has stood up and he stands against the tide. But I mean, that full forward line is fearsome on paper. I mean, what a brilliant line. It's a dream line. Paul Geaney, who's great in the air, you know, has 2 feet. James O'Donoghue, who's devastating. Kieran Donaghy, and if they can play off him, because the Dubs aren't, or the Kerry team aren't looking towards Cork today. They're looking towards Dublin, and the fact that Dublin don't have a natural number 3. And if they can get that right, if they can start kicking the ball in long and regularly in on top of Donaghy, with those two playing off him, it's going to immediately give them a fulcrum in their attack.
I think, Joe, that Kieran Donaghy has malfunctioned at full forward more often.
Not getting the right ball. Not getting the right ball.
In the last 2 years, before that he was a fearsome sight. Yeah, but he has struggled there, and he has struggled against nearly all opposition. If the ball comes in, a nice diagonal crossfield ball, rather than one sort of stuck and dropping down for ages, he will cause a lot of trouble. But the two men in the corner, absolutely. Geaney is a natural goal scorer as well.
But the other problem is, Colm, that up until in the last 2 years, up until this league campaign, Kerry have played without a half-forward line, so they've been forced to carry the ball forward. Therefore, the ball's going in late. But if they're actually working on this, you can see the potential for devastation against any team.
Well, today, Kerry's footballers are looking for a 79th Munster title. Cork hoping to claim their 38th. Let's see which one prevails. In the commentary boxes, Ger Canning and Martin Carney.
Thank you very much indeed, Michael. Fitzgerald Stadium here easily wins the prize for the most picturesque provincial final venue. It's been much used. This is the 4th Munster final in a row, under the shadow of the Reeks and in close proximity to those magnificent lakes away there. The town has been bustling from early morning. The locals just love a Kerry Cork final. They say the crack is mighty, the trade is good, and the match result usually follows suit. And Cork football fans, of course, they also enjoy a famous trip down here to County Kerry every second year, it usually is, even if some of them see it as an annual pilgrimage where a degree of suffering has to be endured. Good for the soul, they say, if not for the heart. And there is one man who did his bit in the past in those great days, great Owen Bonmer Liston. The fans mingling, it's a perfect day for football. A little bit of light breeze which is blowing from the town end, which means the goal away towards our right will have that breeze into it. But there's a very, very big crowd here. You couldn't get too many more people in, I think. It's pretty well packed to capacity. It's already been a very good week, of course, for Kerry in their Munster rivalry with Cork. The Kerry Juniors came from 9 points down on Tuesday to take the provincial crown after extra time. Add that to the minor and the under-21 wins over Cork earlier in the year, and the picture is looking very rosy. Rosy indeed if you are from the kingdom. Cork coming here not without a degree of hope as well. It's a funny thing. The degree of confidence in Kerry is overwhelming, and there's pessimism by and large among Cork fans. Not that Eamon Fitzmaurice is buying into that. And before we get underway with the action, it's time for our own Nevian, played for us by the Mill Street Pipe Band. It really is hard to beat Killarney on the first Sunday in July, Munster football final day, and the great old rivals are at it again, Kerry against Cork. It's Kerry who will defend the goal away to our left, which means they'll have a light breeze behind them for the opening 35 minutes. In charge, Paddy Nealon from Roscommon. It's been quite a year from him. He took charge of the Alliance League final, which of course Kerry won, beating Dublin that day, and he refereed half a game last week up in Ulster. That great match in the semi-finals there, which Down won against Monaghan. The managers are ready. Eamon Fitzmaurice and Padder Healy adjusting his watch there. Big day for all concerned, and off we go. And straight away it is David Moran who wins the first possession here, trying to cut through. He's made a lot of ground, Moran, lays it off smartly, and that kick lands over the crossbar. The opening point after about 14 seconds. What a start. Paul Gainey getting the first point of the match.
Well, if that's a portent of things to come, sure, Cork need a look out. Great run from Moore. Fabulous finish from Gainey.
And again they win this one, Kerry, to Tadhg Morley. Laid off as far as Donegal Walsh. Got 2 yellow cards in the semi-final against Clare, and Kerry down to 14 men before they'd even reached half-time in that match. This is back to the team captain, Fionn Fitzgerald. Carried forward here well. Paul Murphy now back in the half-back line, where of course he won an All-Star and an All-Ireland some 3 years ago now. In as far as Kevin McCarthy getting an early touch, all the way across as far as Shane Enright, switches position across to the right-hand side. Mikey Gainey, all Kerry in the opening few moments. Back in here as far as Anthony Marr. Everybody must have touched the ball nearly at this stage, and it's moving smartly, and it's Mikey Gainey to try and crack a second. What a start!
What a start, sure is right. But a most beautiful bit of interplay between Paul Gainey and Mikey Gainey. Watch the flick from Paul Gainey. Sets it up beautifully for Mikey Gainey, who puts it over the bar. They look so fluent at the moment.
Just about got 90 seconds gone in this match. What a start for the Kingdom. Once again, it is Paul Murphy who goes back to collect this, with Enright available to take it from him. David Moran now running into the first challenge from Paul Kerrigan. Stopping his progress, fouling him. At least it stops the Kerry momentum, if only for a moment. Tadhg Morley. Mikey Gainey, who got that last point, is a cousin of Paul, so the two Gaineys from Dingle have been getting the early scores here for Kerry. John Fitzgerald all the way back. The two men inside forward line for Cork at this stage, reading Niall Coakley and Paul Kerrigan. And Coakley is a debut man, so it's a real left side selection, that one. Here comes Mark Griffin. James O'Donoghue cracking one, looking to keep that momentum going. Terrific attack. 3 attacks so far by Kerry, 3 points. Who said they'd be complacent?
Oh, there's no way any sign of complacency here. That's devastating attacking play from Kerry. And on top of all of this, Jared, Cork are playing a kind of a blanket defence, but they're marking nobody. They're just marking space.
Kevin Crowley across as far as Michael Shields. They're looking for a little bit of stability now, just to try and get their hands on the ball and string a few passes together and set up a first attack. Shields again. Carried on here by Jamie O'Sullivan, retained somehow by Tomas Clancy. Trying to go past David Moran, needs a support player. That support player is Sean Powter. Back in here as far as James Lockery. The two cornerbacks notionally up on the attack inside the Kerry 45-metre line. Kerry deal with that very adequately, very composed. And once again just take that ball out of defence without very much trouble. All the way back as far as Mark Griffin it comes. And he's got Paul Murphy available, very much play anywhere player. He had those couple of seasons where he was up around the number 11 position. Kicks to the head towards Donegal Walsh, second time to get his hands on the ball in this game. Back towards Anthony Marr. Kerry are absolutely lording it. Over to Kevin McCarthy. First Munster final for him. Beautifully down inside again to the man who got the opening point in this match, Paul Gainey. Onto the right this time, 4 attacks, 4 points.
Kerry, hardly seen any soloing whatsoever from Kerry. They're just getting the ball, moving it on quickly with the foot, coming up in great angles with wonderful support. That's exceptional forward play so far.
Well, it's exceptional from a Kerry point of view. Just wondering if there's going to be some kind of a Cork response pretty quickly before they allow Kerry to open up a huge gap. 4 scoring chances, they've taken each and every one of them.
Yes, and they're playing against the wind at that year.
This time it's caught well by Aidan Walsh. Fouled. Did make a mark as well, but I think he was clipped. Anyway, the referee allows play to continue. It's Paul Kerrigan making inroads here against Enright. Kerrigan trying to steal a march. Not easy. Back it comes as far as Coakley. Finally that ball is delivered and kicked by Rory Dean. And Dean has put the ball wide. First attack by Cork, fails to produce anything. Yes, at least they are managing to get the ball up the other end.
Well, that's true, Jaron. That was a very easy opportunity that time for Rory Dean. He had loads of time, got it on his favoured foot, should have scored that.
Well, he'll be very, very pleased with the way this has started. Couldn't have started any better from a Kerry point of view.
Yeah, just watch the way Cork are pushing up at the moment on the Kerry kick-out, so this has to go long.
Well, Cork came here 2 years ago when Brian Cuthbert was in charge, and they played with a lot of intensity. Let's see if the men in the red shirts can do something about this scoreline, which sees them with a barren look on it so far. Back out here as far as Kevin McCarthy, ready to take off past Lockery once again. James Lockery out, just trying to hold McCarthy out there on the perimeter. It's James O'Donoghue who's making the run past Crowley. High challenge, then another challenge which the referee allows to continue, and a lot of Kerry fans thought that was a little bit too high and too physical. Play continues, no free was given. Out as far as Niall Coakley, 27 years of age now, first championship match. Ian Maguire, taken up again, once again by the corner forward, this time blocked down well by Peter Crowley. Kerry look so up for this game. They're sharp, they're incisive, they're really well fired up in every sense. Donegal Walsh, and the referee says he took too many steps this time. A puzzled look on the face of the Croman player.
There's no doubt about it, Jared. They are so sharp looking at the moment. They're getting great width on their attacks, great support play, and every one of them seems intent on really making the mark here today.
When that ball was coming out of defence, Cork had something like 8 defenders back inside their own 45-metre line. There aren't too many players to aim at up there, but here's one. Luke Connolly got the first point of the match, the only point that they got against Tipperary in the first half. Back to Rory Dean. Oh, that's a high challenge against him, this time by Kieran Donaghy. He's saying it was shoulder to shoulder. Referee Paddy Nealon doesn't concur.
No, I think it was shoulder to chest bone that I just watching. Yes, full frontal, therefore free in for Cork. But Cork need to score this, Gerard. They've been very tentative up to now, very unsure of the way they want to play, trying to get players behind the ball, but very, very, very few players up in attacking positions.
Well, certainly Kieran Donaghy felt it was a legit challenge. I'm sure Rory Deane didn't, and the referee goes this time in favour of the Cork man. So it's Luke Connolly who's going to take it. Scorer of a goal and 2 points in his championship career up to this. This is only his third match. An important kick even this early in the game, and he hits it away to the left-hand side. 2 wides by Cork from their 2 attacks so far.
Yeah, but their scores they have to get, or their opportunities they have to take, Ger. That was in front of the goals, that was a win behind you. He should have got that one there at this level of football.
We saw Billy Sheehan there for a moment alongside Padder Healy. Billy, of course, Kerry man, coaching Cork. Mark Collins looking to try and get the opening score for Cork. Decent looking shot, and it's got over the bar. Good point by Mark Collins. It's taken them 8 minutes, but they're finally on their way in a scoring sense. Really good kick.
Yeah, I thought during the game against Tipperary there was Mark Collins that provided the inspiration for Cork in that game. I thought he was superb, and that's a point that Cork badly needed.
Well, he was brought on that day as a blood sub, scored, and then the selector said, well, as soon as there's a break, you'll go back on again, and he did. Made a big, as you say, significant contribution. Anthony Marr now. Mikey Gainey, totally unmarked. He came deep to get it, spraying the ball around very cleverly. Then an injection of pace by O'Donoghue. Donaghy involved, cleverly in as far as Kevin McCarthy. McCarthy is wrapped around there outside the 13-metre line, and that's going to be a free in. James Lockery, last man to get himself up off the deck.
Yeah, that time actually James Lockery just watching me, stood his ground all right, and the number, I think it was a centre forward coming into him, actually ran into him, and maybe Lockery a little bit unfortunate to have conceded that free. But just from a Cork defensive point of view, they're not tight on their men at all, Ger.
Didn't see any card being issued that time to James Lockery. It's a free in, and it'll be James O'Donoghue to add to his tally. So a second point for him, and already it is 5-1.
And ominous at that.
Good to see James O'Donoghue back in action once again, injury-free this season. We know what a great player he is. What a dangerous forward line. That kick-out's gone straight to Anthony Marr, takes the mark. Well, that's the first of the kick-outs down the centre from Ken O'Halloran, straight to a Kerry man. They've had problems with those in the past, those kick-outs.
Yeah, that was quite a hard hit actually that Andy Marr took from Aidan Walsh. And I think the rule is, just watch it, gets him. But I think he took the belt on the ribs, so he's winded. And I think the rule states that the player who actually makes the mark is he who has to take the free kick.
Well, it's Anthony Marr, somewhat gingerly getting himself back up to his full 6'5" length once again. Decides to go short to his team captain from nearby Dr. Crokes, Fionn Fitzgerald. Lobbed in towards Gainey, that's Paul Gainey. Back to Paul once again, and the Dingle man tries to go through 4 Cork defenders. Dean was bending his back. I thought there was a foul there as the player was trying to pick it up. It's inside instead. Away towards Marr. Goalkeeper comes out. Back once again towards Donncha Walsh. They recycle through Marr once more and lay it in towards James O'Donoghue. Under a little bit of pressure, we find finally a very composed finish. Another lovely score. First for Anthony Marr, who's involved 3 times in that attack. And Kerry have already got 6 points, and they're only 11 minutes gone.
Yes, and they absolutely butchered the goaling chance there. They had a 3-1, didn't avail of it to a certain extent. Anthony Maher compensated for the missing, but getting a very good point.
Well, this one was aimed down towards Aidan Walsh, but really well caught by Peter Crowley. Climbed very well, but then was fouling. Free kick to Cork, which Mark Collins is preparing to take. Runs on towards Luke Connolly. Connolly challenging Fionn Fitzgerald. Support from Ian Maguire, the bars man. Ian Maguire coming through here. They need a goal. Oh, it's not going to happen here because the goalkeeper very gleefully gets it into his hands, Brian Kelly. And in the end, the referee has a good look and decides that the goalkeeper was impeded and it's going to be a free out. There's a goal chance, though.
Goal chance, very encouraging from a Cork point of view, the way Maguire was able to knife through the Kerry defence that time, but the goalkeeper was definitely fouled, so it is correctly a free out to Kerry.
Well, that was how Ian Maguire came through with a lot of menace. Kerry able to take it away through Peter Crowley. Opts to go long. Cut out this time by Sean Powter. Powter came out quickly. Referee allows him an advantage. It's not going to accrue, so got to bring the ball back.
Yeah, Powter going one-on-one at the moment on Donncha Walsh. Actually, one of these players actually can play equally well up front if he's needed there.
Kevin O'Driscoll, one of 3 O'Driscolls. His brother Brian unable to line out because of a shoulder injury. Aidan Walsh in here towards James Lockery. Late challenge that time came from Tyke Morley. Referee was allowing an advantage which was never going to come to anything, except a couple of injured bodies over there as they were all colliding.
Yeah, that's a pretty nasty collision, actually.
Last man up there is going to be Niall Coakley, who's originally from Carrigaline, but plays with St Jude's in Dublin.
Yeah, I think Niall Coakley, and Shane Enright rather came together that time. I think Coakley has come out the worst of it, but maybe a little bit of encouragement that time, maybe in the sense that they got the ball forward. But they are so loose at the back at the moment. They're not going tight, and as a consequence, Kerry are managing to get the ball delivered very, very easily forward without any great pressure.
Well, early headaches for the Cork manager, Peadar Healy, in his second year in charge. The selection of Niall Coakley was an interesting one. That was instead of Colm O'Neill, who hasn't had the best of seasons so far, but is a real danger man when he's in form, as we know. But the problems, as you suggest, Martin, are at the other end, where Cork's backs simply haven't been able to keep tabs at all on the Kerry forwards. This was the nearest Cork came to getting a goal. Goalkeeper did really well to get a little block on it, then got the second one before, as we saw, Coakley came down upon him, and the referee was blowing his whistle at that point and giving the free out. Close run thing, but not quite close enough.
Yeah, a little template there actually that Kerry or that Cork might go back to again is to get their midfielder Ian Maguire to run more at the Kerry defence.
But just over 13 minutes gone and you're 6-1 down. Here comes Mark Collins to see what he can do, and he can put it over the bar. So he's Cork's only scorer so far. First from play, that one from free. Very talented 27-year-old, plays for the Castlehaven club but is based in Douglas. Big catch once again taken by Marr. Anthony Marr, a towering figure. Forward towards Donncha Walsh. Always on the move, always on the go, and Powter has got to have his hands full to keep tabs on him. Holds on too long this time. That's the second time that call has gone against Donncha Walsh in this final. Free to Cork, which is taken quickly. Back out to Tomas Clancy. Michael Shields lost 4 matches in Killarney over the years in Munster Championship games against Kerry. Drew 2 here. Hasn't been a happy hunting ground for him or for Cork. This is towards O'Driscoll, and Kevin O'Driscoll drives this one wide, so it's a third wide so far. O'Driscoll has scored 3 points in the 2 Munster finals 2 years ago in 2015. One of the reasons probably why he was included today.
Yeah, but for a team that has been dismissed and derided to the extent that they have been, like Cork, I would have expected much more from them at the beginning of the game. Certainly to take the game to Kerry, that hasn't happened.
John Fitzgerald going backwards, back towards his full-back, Mark Griffin. Only once put under pressure so far in this game. It's been mostly up at the other end. Donncha Walsh once again, where he goes, Sean Powter goes. And Powter from Douglas deemed to have committed the foul, which Donncha Walsh is ready to take. In fact, he's going to leave it in the end for his centre-back, Tyke Morley. Well, this was the challenge coming in here, and Powter is just unyielding and won't give his man an inch.
A waspy little lad.
Sure is. Season for Wasps. James O'Donoghue back in here towards Kieran Donaghy, stumbling, challenged, fouled. Marked today by Jamie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, but they're very, very cheap frees to concede from a Cork point of view. Just watch it that time. That's a careless, head-high tackle. That's inexcusable for a defender to give away one as easy as that.
Well, it wasn't James O'Donoghue. It was Kevin Crowley who committed that.
Kevin Crowley, rather, yeah.
James O'Sullivan now goes back to pick up the tall Kieran Donaghy. James O'Donoghue has got 2 points so far. One of those from a free from this right-hand side with that very trusty left peg. So this will be point number 7. They're not in the mood to toy with Cork today. They look like they're just going to swat them away and dismiss them as quickly as possible. Take the cup and move on.
Yeah, they're ruthless actually so far. The forward play, particularly the inventiveness, the movement and the precision in their finishing.
Another Cork kick out that's gone straight to a Kerry man, Peter Crowley this time. And then as far as David Moran. Moran advancing, and Moran, this time, this referee has decided, commits the offensive foul.
Yeah, he was charging that time, this time correctly, I think, against Jamie O'Sullivan, and correctly the decision.
Shoulder into the chest.
Yeah.
Down went Jamie. Cork trying to get the ball out of their own half of the field. Rory Dean down on the deck here. This well-manicured ground in Fitzgerald Stadium in great condition, always is. Kevin O'Driscoll now kicking this ball into a two-man inside forward line, gets three markers. Picked up by Luke Connolly, over the head of Powter, in it goes. Kerrigan was hoping to get a favourable bounce, didn't happen. David Moran clears it out, and Kerry are able to deal with it all very calmly. Fionn Fitzgerald booting it along, putting the immediate pressure on the Cork backs because I think they are so vulnerable. Michael Shields, this time the ball was handled on the ground, I think, and the referee is giving a free kick to Kerry, which will be taken by Paul Gainey. Takes it very quickly. In here as far as Donncha Walsh, trying to turn his man. This time gets away from Aidan Walsh, and this time puts the ball wide, but the referee's going to bring it all back. Free into Kerry.
The vulnerable jurors, their concentration is very, very poor, and on top of that, they're having to contend with great movement in the Kerry attack.
And great players at that, in that Kerry attack. A team that has already won silverware this year, of course, in Croke Park, beating the Dubs very narrowly, but they got that very important victory against Dublin in that Alliance League final. So they come here fired up, very confident in themselves, and an awful lot expected from them. And they are delivering today. Paul Gainey to take this free. It'll be from just outside the 20-metre line, and this will be point number 8. And we haven't even played 20 minutes. Taking maximum time. Good to have two free takers in your side from right and from left. Always so assured, always so clinical. Free for Gainey, another for Kerry, who lead Cork by 6.
Yeah, and another factor actually is the role that Donaghy is playing. He's in full forward at times, but he's also roaming quite a bit out around the middle of the pitch.
That time it's dropped by Kevin O'Driscoll under pressure, taken away by Paul Murphy. Cork are just not doing anything with their kickouts really, and they're having fierce trouble from the word go there. This is across as far as Kieran Donaghy. Donaghy challenged, still manages to do enough to keep it in play, but gives it away to Tomas Clancy. Now from here, can Cork build something? They've got a very big following. People have travelled over the county bounds for this match today, expecting something from their team. They were awful against Waterford, but just managed to scrape through. Horrible in the first half against Tipperary, but won in the end, as you know. Something was expected from them. So far they haven't really delivered. Luke Connolly has been fouled, and there's going to be a free in.
Yeah, needless foul again conceded by Fionn Fitzgerald, but just from the point of view of roles, Paul Murphy is actually taking up the sweeping role for Kerry and doing it very effectively.
Well, he's a player who can adapt to just about any challenge, I think. A referee calling out Fionn Fitzgerald, and I'm not sure has he to be replaced temporarily. It looks like that. He's going across to receive a little bit of treatment, maybe not to have to leave the field. He's still there anyway. And this is kicked over the bar, and it's the first point of the championship for Niall Coakley. Good left-footed kick, had to make sure of that, so 8-3. And Fionn Fitzgerald still over there on the sideline. They're going to attend to him. Haven't seen a replacement come on, so it must be something very temporary. This time Cork have won the Kerry kick-out, which is a little careless from Kerry's point of view. Luke Connolly sends it forward. Nicely taken up here by Coakley once again. Back to Aidan Walsh. Trying to go around several players. Dished off to Mark Collins. Coming into the picture here, Powter. Taking a return, Sean Powter. Only 19 years of age. In around 3 Kerry players. Back out to Coakley, who started it as a four-final effort. Comes to Griffin. Griffin's able to handle that. Link up with his goalkeeper, Brian Kelly. And the danger has been averted, at least momentarily. Back out it comes to the wings, and Paul Murphy, as ever, ready to start the next attack by Kerry. Lobbed forward by Anthony Marr. Mikey Gainey would need to have skates on, I think, to have managed to keep that one in play. Coakley taking the line ball. Back in as far as Kevin O'Driscoll. Moving forward. Marr goes after him. Now how can they set up a meaningful attack here with Kerrigan involved? Players on his shoulder. It's Maguire. This is promising, and that's finished with great assurance. Ian Maguire comes from midfield. Only his third ever score in the championship. That's a goal and two. Set up for him by Paul Kerrigan. Completed nicely by the St Finbarr's man.
Yes, that's the third time he has come through from the middle of the field. David Moan is trailing in his wake, and Maguire is one big plus for Cork at the moment if he can get forward more often.
That's not a very good kick out either. Aidan Walsh to dump it over the bar maybe. The wind is swinging it away and it's gone wide. Started out okay, but the wind didn't do him any favours, and Kerry still lead by 8 points to 4. Peadar Healy will be a little bit more encouraged, I think. Last couple of minutes have been a good deal better.
Yes, and the last two kickouts from a Kerry point of view have been lost.
And this is the next one, and it's Rory Dean jumping, but the taller man, Anthony Marr, manages to take it into his hands securely. Leave it off to Donncha Walt, trying to go by Sean Powter. Powter again sticking to him. Requires Kevin McCarthy to try and come in on the end line. McCarthy in his first Munster final. Feet were out, ball still in. Dangerous ball comes across here in the end, and the referee has blown a whistle for a foul that time by Kieran Donaghy.
Yes, that's very good defending that time up by Lottery and by Sean Powter in that case. Very, very good tracking back and getting in front of the men.
Well, for the first 20 minutes or so, Kerry absolutely, utterly dominant. Scored 8 points so far, but when you look at the scoreboard now, there's only 4 between them. And here comes James Lockery to carry it downfield. And a lot of time to go in this match. Lockery requiring Michael Shields to slip it forward here as far as Kevin O'Driscoll, the Tadhg McCorrick's player from West Cork. On his hands and knees, looking for a support player. Finds it through Mark Collins. Very clever operator. Shows good vision and awareness. Taking it back in here is Ian Maguire. Got that last point, giving it off to Paul Kerrigan, the team captain. Dumped in the D, and that's going to be another free in and a chance to reduce the arrears to 3 points. Maybe Kerry are celebrating a little bit too early.
Well, they were slow to settle. Cork were up there getting a lot of inspiration at the moment, and this guy who I've mentioned a couple of times already, Ian Maguire, is showing wonderful leadership for such a young lad.
Played his best game, I thought, in a Cork shirt against Tipperary. Doing well here. Niall Coakley has pointed one with that left boot already from outside the D. Needs to make it. Makes it. It's 8-5.
And I think we have a game on at the moment. At last, Cork have settled into it and are contesting very effectively, in particular around the middle of the pitch.
Brian Kelly lobs it into the middle of the park. There are a lot of tall Cork fellas there as well. And Ian Maguire has it. Uses his captain. Kerrigan looks up. Fires it back in towards Luke Connolly, his clubmate at Nemo Rangers, and it went eventually off the feet of John Fitzgerald. It's gone for a 45.
No, I think he actually called it wide, Ger. I think he called it wide. It came off the Cork attacker finally, even though Fitzgerald got his hands to the ball first. It hit the heel of the Cork attacker.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Thought he was raising his hand, waved his hands instead. Kick out to Kerry. 3-point game. And all of a sudden it's Cork who are attacking all of those Kerry kick-outs, and neither goalkeeper is having the kind of success with their kicks that they would wish.
No, from the Kerry point of view, the more effective of the two midfielders at the moment is Anthony Maher. He's the guy that should be trying a little bit more. He has a decisive height advantage over his marker, Rory Dean.
Mark Griffin now from St Michael's, Foilmore. Over here to Shane Enright. Ready to attack once again. Kevin McCarthy. Good shoulder back towards Morley. This time with Paul Murphy striking it in. Cleverly taken by James O'Donoghue. Wants to release it to Murphy. Here's a chance. Well saved by the goalkeeper. Paul Ganey denied. Good stop by Ken O'Halloran. That goal there would have been absolutely vital and critical in this match, you would feel, with Kerry already 8 points to 5 up.
Well, you had a blizzard of hand passes that time and great exchange of ball and a wonderful, wonderful Kerry attack through the middle. But Ken O'Halloran rose to it wonderfully. Just watch the save. got down very well, got his right foot to it. Maybe the ball should have been placed a little bit more to the right or left of him. That's great goalkeeping.
And there's a Cork injury. One of their backs down injured. I think it might be James Lockery. It is James. Well, Ken O'Halloran is a very good shot stopper. Watch as this was building up here. James O'Donoghue setting it up, Paul Murphy involved, and it was Paul Gainey striking it at Ken O'Halloran, got down smartly. Ken, who's won his place back this year from Ryan Price, who is the substitute goalkeeper today. That was a really good stop and an important one as well. Paul Gainey denied. He was man of the match, remember, last year against Tipperary when he got 2 goals and 3 points. Looking for something similar today.
Yeah, but when they get forward, their forward play is so innovative and such wonderful fluency.
O'Donoghue carving his way through again, uses Crowley, takes it back again sensibly and cleverly. Back to Kevin McCarthy. Brother Mike, this time he's caught for overholding. His brother Mike was the winner of 5 Munsters. He's hoping to get his first one here today on the field of play.
Yeah, Maguire again, great tackling this time.
Kevin O'Driscoll lobs it down. It's 1 against 1 now. Down there. Full back does well and keeps it in play. Griffin goes after it. Coakley goes after him. Kerry have that situation under control once more in masterful fashion. Back out comes to Anthony Marr. Kerry looking for their next score. Mikey Gainey's got 1 already. Back in here beautifully. Kevin McCarthy has never scored in the championship. This might be the day to get his first. Takes a return beautifully from Donaghy. Sets an opportunity up here for the darting James O'Donoghue. Kicking it with the right magnificently over the bar. Hadn't scored for a little while. They have now. He's got 4.
That's an absolute huge shirt. Just a change of angle that time by O'Donoghue. So self-assured in the way he put that ball over the bar. Great movement of his man.
9-5.
There's no doubt about it, Ger. When Kerry get the ball into the Cork defence, their movement is just absolutely wonderful to watch. They get great width in their attack. They have so many variations. They can give it long to Donaghy. They're particularly using their half-forward line to great effect.
I think it's a blood sub here, Martin. It's Rory Dean is going off, and it's that man who has started so often, Alan O'Connor, coming on as a blood sub. Peter Crowley. There's a foul there by Mark Collins. This is well won by Shields. Here's Alan O'Connor. He can give the leadership. Absolutely starred here in the 2015 drawn final. That's nicely down to Coakley. Challenged vigorously, and the referee has decided over vigorously on the part of Peter Crowley. He's got to be careful. Referee's bringing him across to issue a caution. Coakley.
That's rash. That's
a
really
really
rash
was, and it's a yellow card.
Yeah, there was no need to take that. There was 2 Kerry defenders around him. Peter Crowley did not like him actually to do it, but rushed in very, very recklessly and gave away an unnecessary free and incurred a yellow card.
Well, it really was unnecessary. It was just a bit impetuous on his part. They've been playing very well up to this. And Kerry have a nice lead of 9 points to 5. Cork will have a free kick, which Luke Connolly is fancying taking. But it's going to be interesting to see if Alan O'Connor is retained in the middle of the park there, because he's one player who can certainly make a big impact on this fixture. There's no doubt in the world about that.
Yeah, and even from the point of view of actually going for restarts, Ger, he might be the one to actually go directly against Anthony Maher.
Focus of attention now is on Luke Connolly, and this kick from 40 metres, centrally positioned as you can see, and straight over the bar. They get it back to a 3-point game once again.
Yeah, when you consider the poor starter they had, like when they went 4 points in very, very, very short time, they've recovered very well, and they're now pressing the Kerry kickouts.
They look like they were a bundle of nerves, quite frankly. And that's out as far as Tyke Morley. It wasn't outside the 45, so it's not a mark. That's returned from Fionn Fitzgerald to his goalkeeper, Brian Kelly. Kelly from the Killarney Legion Club. Worked away through Shane Enright. And incrementally they'll be able to work it up the field here. They're mixing it very nicely between short and long passing. Fionn Fitzgerald again. at his ease, almost planting it across there into the hands of Mikey Gainey. Enright takes control again. Into Marr. Anthony Marr slips it forward to the dangerous James O'Donoghue. His marker is Kevin Crowley. O'Donoghue's already got 4 points. 2 of those were from frees. This is back to Gainey, who's got 3 points, 2 from open play. O'Connor was trying to intervene. Back came James O'Donoghue. Slips it forward. Anthony Marr. Not sure what he was trying to do there, but it didn't quite work out as he was hoping to link up with Paul Murphy, but the pass was too short. Fans getting vexed with some of the decision-making. In the end, it's a line ball, and it's taken by Paul Kerrigan for Cork.
Well, that's wonderful determination that time from the sub-Alan O'Connor.
Taken out of defence here by Aidan Walsh. A bit like old times with Aidan Walsh and Alan O'Connor in the middle of the park for Cork. Work downfield towards Luke Connolly. Foul by Connolly. Free kick for Kerry coming up with about 2.5 minutes to go to half-time. Kerry, the dominant force for most of this opening half. Got away to a great start. It's only when they relaxed their grip and made some silly kick-outs that didn't work in their favour that Cork were able to get back into it. Kerry pressing forward again. McCarthy back in towards James O'Donoghue. Lets it beat him and takes off it once again. Tries to go around Lockery. Ball comes back to Donaghy, captain a couple of years ago. Back in towards McCarthy. Back to Donaghy. He scored in the 2015 final. A goal there. He's got a point here. 4 of the forwards have scored now at this stage, and Anthony Marr, so they're doing very nicely, and Kerry are leading by 10 points to 6.
That's delightful composure that time by Donaghy, and it must be said by Kevin McCarthy. Donaghy could have gone for a goal, did the same thing, took the point. Kerry got another point ahead.
This time Aidan Walsh comes in, challenges for it. Collins did enough to keep it in Cork possession via Paul Kerrigan. Kerrigan slaloming his way forward, trying to link up with Tomas Clancy, succeeds in that, gives it back to Ian Maguire. Maguire thought about taking on David Moran. Back it goes instead to Mark Collins, looking to add to the 2 points he's got already, but that's well wide of the target, and that is a 4th wide now. Rather correction, I think it's a 6th wide.
Yeah, Cork in particular, early in the game, once Kerry gone 4 points ahead, had a couple of great chances to actually settle themselves down and get points on the scoreboard. They regret those going in at half-time. They're 4 down, they should only be 2 down.
There could be 2 additional minutes played, we understand, at the end of the opening half here. Kerry will be happy enough with their day's work so far. There were those who said they might just relax their grip on their title. They're going for 5 in a row. And they are the business and meaning business in every possible sense. This time, Pouter showing he's not going to be overwhelmed. Mark Collins, all the way across as far as Kevin Crowley. Back to Shields. Cork looking to get maybe one more score before the break. Jamie O'Sullivan. Crowley carrying it forward. Kerry getting a lot of bodies back. Cork keeping a lot of bodies back at the same time, by the way. You look at the full pitch here. They're slow to get players forward. Now finally it's Tomas Clancy is beginning to join the attack, bit by bit. Feeling a tiny bit more confident to take a risk. Maguire back to Clancy once again. Now can he point from here? He's capable of doing it. That looks good.
That's beautiful.
That is a beautiful kick, you're right. Tomas Clancy from Fermoy. Only his 2nd ever championship point. It's another one for Cork. 3 points the margin once again.
Okay, patience is the name of the game. That time they're going laterally, but at the end result was fantastic. Maguire the assist, Clancy the point.
John Fitzgerald. Just over a minute still to go of added time. Luke Connolly being very ambitious this time, and the wind sweeping it away, and his shooting inaccurate as well, so stays at 10-7.
Yeah, but the reason he went for that, he had nobody inside whatsoever. All the Cork players are playing outside the 45-metre line.
Kerry quite happy just to take control of things here inside their own 45. Build in stages, confident in their own ability to take on any challenge that Cork might present. Paul Murphy is presenting quite a challenge now. Up to 13 metres, lays it off here. O'Donoghue leaving it off to Gainey, and the other Twin Axis puts it over the bar. Paul Gainey, lovely play there. They combined superbly. Luke Connolly was chasing after one of the attackers, lost his way completely, and in the end it was a combination of O'Donoghue and Gainey, and between them they have got 8 points in this match so far. 11-7. Jamie O'Sullivan for Cork, letting it in, but there's only one man in there. Half-time has arrived here in Killarney. It's very definitely advantage Kerry. They've been by far and away the better team. They settle, they show their excellence up front. They have the Cork defence in all kinds of difficulty. Eamon Fitzmaurice has to be really, really pleased. Problems for Padder Healy. He knew what to expect coming here to Killarney, where at half-time the scoreline reads Kerry 11, Cork 7. We'll be hearing the views of Joe and Colm in Croke Park with Michael right after this.
We have reached the halfway point in this year's Munster football final. Kerry are, of course, leading Cork by 11 points to 7. And there is confirmation of that scoreline and, of course, the guys who got the scores in that first half. A first half in which Kerry started off really well, Cork coming into it towards the end of that half. Let's see what Joe and Colm thought about all of that. Interesting for, well, an odd kind of first half in many ways, Colm, because it was really boring for the first 10 minutes, but it began to kind of liven up.
Yeah, well, we were beginning to worry after 10 minutes that this was going to be a rout.
Yes.
Because Kerry started off playing champagne football, lovely touches, ball flicked here and 4 points to nothing up, and you feared for Cork. But in fairness to them, they've got stuck in and they're beginning to get to grips with Kerry now. Their alarm bells go up every time Gainey and James O'Donoghue have the ball up front. But in fairness to Cork, fellas like that Sean Powter, there's a bit about him. He's got stuck into Donncha Walsh and he's given him a right hard time. Yeah. Ian Maguire in the middle of the field has been very good. Yeah. So there is signs of a Cork revival. The danger signals, though, are that Kerry might get a goal, and the Cork forward line does not look near as potent as the Kerry forward line.
Yeah. Cork's revival was such, once they really started to get stuck into them, that they were making it very, very difficult in the kickouts. At one stage they won 3 out of 4 Kerry kickouts, converted that into 2 or 3 scores. And the only difference at half-time is that early 4-point blitz from Kerry. Don't forget, Cork had a brilliant goal chance earlier, before Kerry's goal chance, and they sort of messed it up. And that's really the only difference, is the composure when it comes to sticking the ball over the bar. Because Cork are competing very well in every aspect of the game.
Yeah, but the big problem, the last 10 minutes of the game, again, Cork allowed Kerry take short kick-outs, I think 5 in a row. What are they at? They should be pushing up right up the field. They have to take chances. Yeah. You know, they cannot just sit back and hope.
They've got the problem, which is that when they push up fully, then they're exposing themselves at the back. You know, and it's also very exhausting to push up fully throughout the game. And in fairness, Cork's running game through the middle is very, very energy sapping. Yeah, so you know, there are trade-offs to be made.
But
because the problem is what you know, you can't leave Kerry's inside forwards to play man-to-man. It's just going to be devastation.
Yeah, but Cork are 4 points behind. There's nothing to be lost for now. No, pushing but I mean, up and taking chances.
They've just had some bad options.
Cork are 4 points behind, having given Kerry a free start in the game, which is always I think fascinates us as to.
Yeah, you must be brave in a game like this, and of course it starts off from the throw-in with David Moran running through. Gainey comes around on the loop, and for him that's just bread and butter to do that every night in Killarney. So, and with simple stuff, beautiful foot passing, and then the beautiful flick off there, and there's always a runner coming in, and James O'Donoghue too looks as if he's back to something like his best form. And Mark Griffin coming up the field, and again, the players who get the ball always give it to the scorers. You don't see Kerry fellas trying, say the backs trying for spectacular points. They always look for the inside men and make life easy for them. Look at Gainey here. Again, the slickness of his move and a beautiful point.
3 minutes in and it's 4-0 and you're thinking to yourself, Dublin, Westmeath, you know, is this going to be? So Cork have got hammered into them, and it's been very, very gratifying to see it. And the game's a real proper game now. And Colm is right, of course. If Kerry get a goal, then they stretch away. But if Cork take the chances that they're creating for themselves, I mean, if Kerry haven't had a single wide. Cork have had 6 wides, and 4 of those were poor wides. Poor shot selection. I mean, at one stage, the young Cork full forward had a great chance to pop a ball over the bar, and he dribbled it into the keeper's arms. So things like that are sapping them.
All right, we are headed for a break here on the Sunday game. But don't go anywhere, because coming up shortly, we will be giving you the chance to win a nice break to London.
RTE Sport have teamed up with Aer Lingus, Ireland's only 4-star airline, to give you the chance to jet up to London for an amazing break for you and a friend. This great prize includes 3 nights 4-star hotel accommodation in the heart of the city. And so you can make the most of London, there's €1,000 spending money too. For your chance to win, answer this. Which of the following is the current Dublin football manager? Is it Jim Gavin, Davy Fitzgerald or Eamon Fitzmaurice? To enter, call 1517 71 71 82 or text the word GAME followed by your answer and name to 57001. Calls from the Air network will cost €2.03. Calls from other networks may be higher. Viewers in the north can also text 57001 or call the number on screen. You must be over 18 to enter. Lines will close at midday on Monday, July 3rd. Full details are on rte.ie/competitions, where the lucky winner will also be revealed.
It is half-time in this year's Munster football final, and it is Kerry leading Cork by 11 points to 7. We're in the dancing break at the moment here on the programme, but Cork did have a chance in that first half.
Yes.
Because there's 4 points in a column, but they had a goal chance, Cork.
Yeah, and I do agree with you, Michael. Joe is the right man for that dancing now when the winter comes.
Heads are going to roll here.
Except for Marty.
You're gone
we're
after
back
all.
We're backing you.
He's gone after today.
Ian Maguire goes through there, gets it down, and one of the Kerry backs on the line. And I thought for a while here that the goalkeeper could have been, but I think it shows that he was fouled initially. It was a brilliant goal chance, and it just shows that the Kerry backs have been open enough at times. But Maguire, to me, has brought the fight to Kerry and has been very good in that game. So I think that Cork need to drive at them. Forget about this cautious approach.
Absolutely.
You know, caution, throw caution to the wind. They need to go at them. They need somebody to really drive into them. Somebody like Sonny Bill Williams, they could have got him. He's not needed in New Zealand at the moment.
He's
drive forward.
Week. Yeah.
This is it. They go for it now. Push up and go for it. Go for it. Leave nothing behind. Kerry are vulnerable through the centre. This Kerry team, since they started out under Fitzmaurice, they have always given you opportunities through the centre. If you drive through the centre and if you time your runs. Now, one thing that Cork are very good at is timing the run off the man's shoulder, so that timing the run is everything. And if you do that in the modern game, because you're not allowed to body check any longer, you're going to be able to punch holes. Look what Down did last week. I mean, look what Tyrone are able to do, for example, when they go up to full steam. So, I mean, Cork they're very, very good at this. The goal they scored against Tipperary, the way they played 2 years ago, there are shades of that now. They need to get wired into this, because there's no tomorrow. This is it.
But I suppose, in fairness, having shown the Cork goal chance, Kerry did have a goal chance as well. Now, the keeper did well here, but they were very close.
Yeah, well, again, this quick hands,
Timing the runs
O'Donoghue to Paul Murphy. And if you wanted anybody in the country to get the ball with the goalkeeper to beat, it would be Paul Ganey. I think half the country have probably backed him for the first goal score. And
he hadn't much time, though, Colm. His angle was narrowed very quickly by the defender.
Lockery came in very quickly on him. Fair play to Lockery. He covered him off. But Ganey normally slots those. They're bread and butter for him.
OK, look at. You lads are talking about Cork need to throw caution to the wind and get stuck into the game.
Not so much caution to the wind, but get absolutely wired in.
I know what you mean. Yeah, but I mean, look, let's be realistic here. What are the chances of that's happening?
What's it got to do with realism?
No, I'm not saying
they wouldn't come and play the game at all.
But I'm saying,
you know, it's nothing.
The way football is played here at the moment.
Championship football has nothing to do with realism.
But that's the idealistic view.
It's not, but no, what's the actual view? If you don't, I mean, people misinterpret.
The Cork manager is in the dressing room now saying, "Come on, let's go out and slag it."
Wired into them. I mean, people misinterpret the Jim McGuinness project, for example. They think, that it was all about conservatism and defending. They went for you. They went for the junk. They overwhelmed you psychologically and physically. They were on you. You couldn't do anything. They were, they just climbed inside your head. And that's what Cork need to do. They need to keep fighting here.
Well,
and they don't need to drop off. Colum's right. Whenever they dropped off, it was a safety valve for Kerry. Because Kerry will hold the ball all day long in the second half.
They need to go for goals. Go for goals. Go for goals. Go for goals. That's the thing about it.
Not even that, Colin.
The cost of that is that they're going to leave themselves slightly exposed at the back. And like Geaney and O'Donoghue, they'll only need to get one ball up and they'll stick it in the net. But there is a sense of bravery attached to going for the game. And I don't think Cork are a backdoor team. They've shown that over the last few years. Once they're out of the championship, the club scene. So, it's more than just a Munster final for them. It's survival for the summer is at stake here. They need to come out of this game, even if they don't win it, with a sense of self-respect, which easily ebbs away if you don't actually get stuck into a game.
Look at the
We have Donogh O'Connor, by the way, coming on for Cork in the second half. But I'm also can't get away from the fact that in their previous match against Tipperary, we were showing it a little bit earlier on. I mean, it took Cork until the last minute or two of the game to actually rescue the game.
But they finished the game with great style and great courage. It was a brilliant goal, and they went for the goal. Every man was tuned into it. And we've seen at times in the first half when they ripped through the centre of that Kerry defence, Kerry have had to resort to fouling to stop them coming through. And the important thing is that I disagree with Colm. I wouldn't be going bald-headed for goals, because you'll end up in a situation like Armagh in the first half against Down, when they became fixated on goals because they were creating sort of half chances. Look, you snap your scores. Should it be a point, a goal, whatever it is, you just keep the scoreboard ticking over. That's the important thing.
Cork are not going to win the game, Joe, without getting goals. They're not going to outpoint Kerry.
If they had kicked 3 or 4 easy points in the first half,
a goal or two would help, wouldn't it? Yeah. All right, as you can see, teams heading out for the second half. So let's head back to our commentary team in Killarney, to Ger Canning and Martin Carney.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, as you've been noting there, Donogh O'Connor has come on. And Donogh is one man they have turned to time and again over the years. He's 36 years of age now, but his record is quite significant. He's got 12 goals and 146 points to his credit in a fantastic career. He's gone in at quarter forward here. Mark Griffin is picking him up immediately. The man who's made way has been Niall Coakley. His debut in the championship lasted 35 minutes. A little bit of jostling in the middle of the park between Marr and Ian Maguire. The referee set to go, Paddy Nealon. The chairman of the county board in Kerry, who is Peter Twist, tells me that his daughter Niamh is watching this in Cambodia. Her team are 4 points up, started the second half. And straight away Kerry managed to get their hands on the ball once again, and it's Mikey Geaney once more, all the way down towards Kieran Donaghy. Donaghy trying to make some inroads here against Jamie O'Sullivan. Kerry just holding it up here now, all the way back towards Anthony Marr. Kerry would have subbed themselves as well, having brought Stephen O'Brien in. He's one man that can certainly add an extra bit of pace to their half-forward line. Got a goal and a point, of course, against Clare in the semi-final when they were playing that game with only 14 men for half of it. Here he is, Stephen O'Brien, first chance, cracks a beauty. What a substitution that is. What a time to bring him on.
Yes, beautiful, Ger. Great score from Stephen O'Brien. I noticed actually Sean Powder has gone over in the other wing to mark Michael Geaney. This guy here, O'Brien, great pace, great accuracy. That was a good score to settle him.
Did very well for his club, of course, during the winter. Was very heavily involved in that start for Ken Maher as they became Munster club champions in their grade. Free kick for Cork, which is going to be taken by Michael Shields. Only downside for Kerry, I suppose, during the match so far has been a 10-minute spell between the 19th and 29th minute when they didn't get among the scores. Ken O'Halloran's been a bit adventurous. Eventually he double hops and there's no goalie, and Kerry have it. David Moran, surrounded by Cork players, tries to boot it up and over the bar and get a second one at the start of the second half, and he succeeds. Folly in the extreme by the goalkeeper to come out like that. It's hardly necessary.
And that's awful indecision by the goalkeeper. Nobody moving for him, in all fairness, but my God, when you see a goalkeeper 60 metres out from his own goals over on the sideline, that is actually footballing suicide.
Well, it was 4 and it's now 6, the margin. And Kerry once again starting this second half as they commence the opening 35 minutes, except it's O'Brien this time, and he punches it over. 3 inside the opening 2 minutes and 15 seconds. 2 for Stephen O'Brien.
Well, I never see sort of, tiring of watching Kerry, and their ability to improvise is really a joy, but at the moment Cork are making it very, very easy for them.
Well, I don't think the Cork fans here in pretty substantial numbers, Martin, are seeing the joy in all of this just now, but Kerry are playing wonderfully well. His team really turning on a performance. But as Colm and Joe were saying at half-time with Michael, Cork need to be brave at this stage. They've got to give it a go if they're going to get anything at all from this match. Right now, they're being outgunned in the middle of the park, and Kevin McCarthy is setting up a chance here, and it could be finished. Well, stopped by the goalkeeper this time, made amends from James O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue goes back and plants it over the bar, as in the first half. 4 points, reeled off almost immediately by Kerry.
Yeah, we haven't 3 minutes gone, Gerard. It's a case of deja vu. Kerry started with 4 points in the first couple of minutes. 4 points now, more or less putting the game to bed, unless Cork can go down, get a couple of scores. But they need to first of all settle and get possession around the middle of the park.
Cork have responded by bringing Alan O'Connor back on. He's now on as a full sub for Rory Deane. Came on as a temporary earlier on. So the 2 men who were involved as part of the 2010 All-Ireland winning team against Down are in there now. The 2 O'Connors, not related of course, except in a football sense, Donica and Allen. And Cork haven't managed to get the ball inside the Kerry half just yet. They are now, first time in the second half they managed to get that far forward, and we're 4 minutes in, and it's Tomas Clancy. Clancy! This is a goal chance! What a goal! Or is it? No, it's at the side netting. Oh dear. There were Cork fans on their feet here. They were convinced that was gone in. But it's the netting and not the back of the net that he managed to hit. Tomas Clancy with a wonderful run forward. Just look at this again here. Coming forward. Huge gap opened up for him. Yeah, just outside, however.
Yeah, and the boys highlighted that at half-time. The porousness of the Kerry defence. How easy it is to get through them. That time, though, Clancy went for the near side. That is a bad miss. That is something that would have restored Cork's confidence had they got it.
Kerry about to make another change, we understand, and Johnny Buckley is going to be coming in for them. Things going very nicely. Let off at one end, chance to dominate once again and carry that ball forward through Mark Griffin once more. Griffin deciding to hell with the full-back row, going into midfield, into Donaghy. Kieran Donaghy as far as Paul Murphy, and Murphy lets a beauty in and over the bar. First of the day for Paul Murphy, now operating as a left half back. Kieran Donaghy very heavily involved at the start of that. 5 in a row now by Kerry. Such an impressive start to the second half. And on comes Johnny Buckley at number 21.
Yeah, what is very interesting actually about the Kerry attack is their option taking, Ger, is exceptional. Some of those points here from distance, some of them as a consequence of quick interpassing, and some of them just by direct play. That's very, very good football.
More changes happening. Colm O'Driscoll has come on in place of Michael Shields for Cork. So that's 2 O'Driscolls now. There were 3 of them playing here some 2 years ago, so off goes Shields, disappointed. Another bad day at Killarney, it would appear. This is Kevin O'Driscoll making the mark, getting the ball forward. It bounces kindly for Paul Kerrigan, and Kerrigan deemed to have pushed his man. Hasn't scored so far today, the Cork captain.
A little bit unlucky, I thought that time, Gerard. I think he was going hard for the ball with Shane Enright. Maybe he used his body somehow, but I thought it was a soften up free.
The Cork management in the background there, not one bit happy with that particular decision by Paddy Nealon. Free kick to Kerry. They attack again in front of an attendance of 31,836. They get it down as far as James O'Donoghue, taking on Loughrea. One James against another, and this one has gone wide. And that is their first wide of this match. Crede Nuno Cred after 42 minutes.
That is quite incredible, Gerard. You know, but the quality of the football again, the foot passing, first time foot passing, ability to run into space is just of an exceptional quality.
That time it was Alan O'Connor coming, but there was a foul over there anyway, which the referee has spotted. Kerry leading 16-7. Cork yet to get a score in this second half, and we're 7 minutes into the half. Alan O'Connor, they're going to need goals. Near miss a little while ago there with the one that went into the side netting and not the back of the net. And it's Sean Powter who takes off. They're flying after him. Buckley's trying to catch him. Powter, quick on his feet. Now good balance. Great block down by Buckley. Oh, that's commendable defending there. Great little run forward by Sean Powter, but credit the substitute, Johnny Buckley. He wasn't going to give up on it. And just look at the exquisite timing here. Had to go at him there, and again, and then here. Block. Brilliant. Super defending.
Yeah, when you think about it, he was trailing in Powder's wake for quite a bit of that, but persevered with it, got goal side of Powder, executed the block. That's setting a wonderful example for the rest of his team.
Donnacha O'Connor has the free kick from 13 metres. First point of the second half. First for Donnacha O'Connor as well. A mild cheer from the Cork fans here, who have to be absolutely bitterly disappointed to be behind at this stage by 8 points. So what can the management and what can his team do about it? All the way out here as far as Anthony Marr. Kicked in as far as Mikey Gainey. Marr again, just trying to control the tempo of the game at this stage. That's not controlling it, that's giving Cork a chance to get it back. But down towards Donaghy, came down from the clouds and he was waiting. And then the ball was touched on the ground and it's going to be a free out to Cork. Yeah. Momentary relief for them.
Yeah, the crowd were really anticipating a big fetch that time from Donaghy. Unfortunately, from his point of view, touched on the ground.
Lockery sets Cork going again with Aidan Walsh dragged down. Fouled that time by James O'Donoghue, limps away from it. Referee brings the ball forward. Free kick which Mark Collins is going to take. Inside towards Luke Connolly, back here towards Paul Kerrigan. Kerrigan. Oh, well stopped. And this time there's another chance to keep it moving, and it's fisted over the bar. Cleverly done. Donnacha O'Connor has got a second.
Yeah, picking up the rebound that time. That's another good goaling opportunity missed by Kerry, but good save. You've got to credit Brian Kelly. Possibly the ball was hit very centrally, but okay, Donnacha O'Connor picked up the crumbs, but that should be or could have been 2 goals for Cork and a half.
Substitution in the Cork team.
24 coming on is Michael Hurley.
Michael Hurley.
Well, the one thing about Michael Hurley is that he will run at you as a defender, and Kerry will be ready for that. He's a young player, just 21 years of age. Brother Brian, of course, unable to play because of injury. Another Castlehaven man. Player going off, Kevin O'Driscoll, who didn't have the best of days. But then again, you can say that about quite a few of his colleagues.
Yeah, and one of the joys that Cork have had today is the likes of Sean Powter running hard at the Kerry defence, and maybe he can get some, help from Hurley by doing the same thing.
This looks very serious now. Concern on the faces there of Eamon Fitzmaurice.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened there, Ger.
He's got Podrick Corcoran there and backroom team of Mikey Sheehy, Liam Hassett and Maurice Fitzgerald. Everybody concerned about the injured Kerry player. And it's sad to see the stretcher come out.
Yes, quite a serious injury. It's the oxygen being applied also, and that is a serious injury. That'll cause Eamon Fitzmaurice a lot of concern.
Banner Healy there with Eamon Ryan, just trying to discuss what they might do. It's Fionn Fitzgerald, I think, who is in trouble, and it's going to be number 22 who comes on, the familiar figure of Killian Young.
Yeah, I didn't see what happened that time. He must have twisted his knee, but there is no doubt about it. Whatever injury he has, he's gone for the rest of this game. Looks very serious.
Well, there's a lot of concern, as you can imagine. Let's just have a look at this again here. That's Fionn Fitzgerald going in there, and he collided. An accidental challenge as he was coming across, hit his own man.
Yeah, whatever it was, there was absolutely no malice in it whatsoever. I think it was a clash with his own man, I should say, and unfortunately from his point of view it's going to mean his departure from the game. But just, you know, the Cork defence are getting no respite whatsoever from the Kerry attack since the beginning of the second half, and Cork are making it easy for them as well, Ger. They're not pulling back a sweeper that might help their cause somewhat. But it's just, you know, the game is beginning to drift away from Cork, and the fact also that they have scored 2 goal scoring opportunities, certainly not helping the cause.
Well, there's been quite a difference between the two teams. This is that goal moment a few moments ago now at this stage. He came that close to squeezing it in. Thought for a moment he had done so, but it was the side netting instead for Tomás Clancy, who's never scored a goal in the championship. Got a point earlier on. But we are seeing a difference, and we've got to bear in mind Cork have spent the early part of this year functioning in Division 2 of the Alliance League, and they expected a good performance from them in that, and possible promotion back to Division 1. It didn't happen. The other end of the scale, you've got Kerry, who were top of the table and won the league. From Kerry's point of view so far, there's 16 points in this match, made up of 13 from play, 3 of them from frees, and they have been very clinical. They very nearly got the first goal for them. Haven't got a goal so far in the match, but in the end, James O'Donoghue made sure that he got something out of that, got a point. They're so assured, so decisive in everything that they do. They look a class apart, quite frankly, here in Killarney. Yeah,
and from a Cork point of view, I think in particular around the middle of the field, their passing and their playmaking is very torturous. It's quite lateral at the far too often. And to be fair, the 2 lads inside, Donegal O'Connor and Paul Kerrigan, they're not making enough running off the ball. Like when you contrast that with the movement of Paul Ganey and James O'Donoghue, who have been lightening off their men, who have been giving all kinds of options to their outfield players, Cork by comparison are on their heels.
Well, still the manager and coaches look on, waiting until the medical personnel have done their job, making sure that Fionn Fitzgerald's okay and that the injury is very, very well attended to, which indeed it is. And we wish him a very speedy recovery. Probably have a bit of a headache tomorrow, but I'm sure we'll see him back very, very quickly. Killian Young coming on. You saw there a moment ago that we were promoting the second big match here today, which is the Leinster Hurling Final. That's coming up at 4 o'clock, Croke Park, where it will be Wexford against Galway. So not to be missed. On comes Killian Young. Very experienced player, now 30 years of age. 56th championship appearance for the Renard player. It was quite a long hold up there. Yes. Reminder, it's 16-9.
Yeah, they're taking huge care and attention for Fionn Fitzgerald. I'm not sure, we haven't really got a close-up of him, thankfully, but it could be a head injury. So
it is, I think it looked like a head injury, didn't it?
Yeah.
And again, the referee just making sure that everybody has time aplenty to attend to the stricken right corner back who captained Kerry today, who's having a great year, won the club All-Ireland, of course, on Patrick's Day with his club, Dr. Crokes, just across the road from here. And they'll be happy to see their number 2 back. Looking forward ahead now at this stage to an All-Ireland quarter-final, barring something unpredictably special from Cork for the remaining 20 minutes of the match. Deserved round of applause for the injured Dr. Crokes man. Kerry's captain, Fionn Fitzgerald, stretchered off.
I know there's actually Ian Maguire out in the middle of the field with David Moore, and they're certainly getting to know one another up close and personal.
I haven't a clock on it, but I imagine that's a 5-minute delay.
Oh, at the very least, Ger. At the very, very least. Like, we have 60 minutes gone on the half, and I say that has taken up at least 5 minutes.
Well, they've been very, very careful just to take him down, get him straight to the ambulance and straight to hospital. Just an accident, one of those things that can happen anywhere, but often happens on a football field. The referee has a quiet word, David Moran and Ian Maguire. Kerry by 7 points. They were 4 ahead at half-time, which, considering their dominance, didn't seem like an awful lot. Maguire jumping, more in there as well, but it's taken down absolutely brilliantly by Johnny Buckley. 2 great pieces of action by him. He made that intervention a little while ago on Powter. A great catch there, setting up a chance here for Paul Gainey. Gainey kicking it off his left, under pressure, too much pressure. It's not even gone wide yet, but it is now. Very, very wide indeed.
Yeah, I think Johnny Buckley,
wide.
Yeah, Johnny Buckley would be very keen to kind of get back on the starting 15. I think, isn't he team captain, Ger? As far as I know, he is. And that's a wonderful fetch under pressure.
Well, it's a Dr. Crokes call because, of course, they are the county and indeed All-Ireland club champions. He's in there in the half-forward line at this stage, being marked by Tomas Clancy. Comes out here, straight to Peter Crowley. Another poor kick out. James O'Donoghue drills it into Donaghy, trying to get away. This is James O'Donoghue again. He started the move, he can finish it. There's a little block on it. It's gone for a 45.
But he's such a menace every time he gets the ball. A lovely link up with himself and Kieran Donaghy that time. Beautiful, beautiful movement from O'Donoghue. But unfortunately, from his point of view, didn't finish it off with a score. But I think he's got the 45, as you say.
You can credit Kevin Crowley for a lot of that, because he got in that late challenge, the number 7, did really well. Got down smartly.
Yeah, but one of the criticisms what I would have of the Cork defence, Ger, is that they're not going tight enough on James O'Donoghue. Right from the word go, he's got point after point. Some of them in the first half, I think 4 he got in the first half. Some of them are exceptional. But again, in all fairness, not under pressure for quite a number of them. One of the players that Eamon Fitzmaurice might have been concerned about for Cork would be Owen Cadigan, who hasn't played at all in football this year, but he's back on the bench today, and he's one defender who has done a job in Cork Kerry matches in the past, but I think they feel he just hasn't got enough football played this season. It's got to be Mikey Gainey to hit this. Got a point very early on in the game. So the 27-year-old from Ondangan. Hitting it well. Hitting it very, very well. Caught it so crisply, hit it so confidently, straight as you could wish. 79 now. 79 is starting to really drift away from Cork. They need to get a couple of scores very quickly to get themselves back into this.
Fisted back down by Anthony Marr, in spite of the tension there of Alan O'Connor. Peter Crowley setting it up here. Running onto it is Mikey Gainey, having taken the 45, trying to come in along the end line here and trying to get himself free of the clutches of James Lockery. Referee quickly on his case, and the foul noted.
Yeah, but the formula for Kerry is very, very simple.
It wasn't Lockery, it was actually Powter.
Powter, that's right. But what they depend on is quick movement, good movement of the ball and quick delivery of the ball. And the interaction between deliverer and the receiver is wonderful.
James O'Donoghue has kicked the second of the second half. He's kicked the 6th in all. And Kerry lead by double scores.
And deservedly so. They're by far the superior team, and unless Cork get a score or two, we're just going to have another landslide.
Touched on by Aidan Walsh as far as Alan O'Connor, held in possession, so it's going to be a quick free. Only goals will allow Cork to get anywhere near to Kerry at this stage. Paul Kerrigan might have thought about a point. He's still thinking about it. He's hoping that the wind will do him a favour and curl it in. It comes off the post.
That's an absolute beauty. I thought it was going away wide on the right-hand side, but an indication of how strong the wind is and the direction of the wind is taking, kind of, is easily observed that time. The ball just was taken in by the wind, off the post. Good score by Kerrigan.
Yeah, the post obliging him there. It's going to be a line ball once again to Kerry.
Yeah,
Killian Young to take.
Yeah, when it came here today, I expected much tighter to constructed Cork defence, but we haven't had that.
Tyke Morley setting off. After him goes Mark Collins. This is a dangerous one in here with Donaghy around. Touched out, however, by Kevin Crowley. Plucky play on the part of the left half back. And then it's Colm O'Driscoll, his first touch since coming on. Carried forward there by Tomas Clancy. Aidan Walsh next. On his left shoulder was Kerrigan. Fired in here. One for Luke Connolly to go running after as best he can. Hope he can keep it in play, but unable to do so.
No, that was a nothing ball that time. Nobody in the full forward line for I think Kerrigan to put the ball to, but very, very disappointing outcome.
Well, they can't keep tabs on Kerry's attackers down at one end, having difficulty winning any kind of decent ball or consistent ball in the middle of the park. So there's really no chance for the forwards, except when a Kerry player puts the ball unnecessarily out over his own end line, as Killian Young did there, and concedes a 45. So it gives Luke Connolly a chance to see whether he can kick in towards the breeze and put it over the bar. Well, he's got the breeze behind him right now because the wind has changed directions. So maybe this will make it a slightly easier kick. The error there by Killian Young. He's pointed one free in the first half. 18 points to 10. Can he get another one for Cork and give us more of a match? Up into the air, but couldn't quite curl in this time. Didn't quite happen. It's 9 wides now by Cork. Well, that was a bit of a gift anyway, because Killian Young had knocked it out over his own end line. Well, another Kerry star in the making coming on, who played in the last match. That's Jack Barry, and he's coming on in place of Anthony Marr.
I think actually Amos Fitzmaurice at this stage can afford to run down his bench and give a lot of the inexperienced players an opportunity to play in the Munster final.
Well, Jack Barry played against Clare, has played most of the season so far, very prominent in the Alliance League as well. That's fisted on that time by David Moran, and James O'Donoghue reacts quickest, comes from his corner forward spot ahead of Lockery. Lockery trying to win it back, O'Donoghue battling as well, refusing to yield anything to Cork, and in the end the linesman says, Cork, you have the line ball. Mark Collins ready to take it. The linesman over there is Joe McQuillan of Cavan. On the near side it's Derek O'Mahony of Tipperary, and there's a Cork player now requiring some attention.
Yeah, but a lot of people kind of look on Donoghue as a stylish finisher and all of that, and a person who has beautiful array of skills. But when he has to graft, nobody does it better. That time with 3 Cork men around him, he's prepared to fight for his own ball. And just have been very, very impressed with him today. Like, the shoulder injury of the last couple of years hasn't done him an awful lot of favours. But on the evidence of what we see today, he's back to his best form.
James Lockery is the injured player here. Player who is, well, he's played championship in Ulster and in Munster. He's played in Ulster finals, played there for Antrim against Tyrone back in 2009. This is what was happening here. He was chasing for it. Oh, he caught the leg of James O'Donoghue. Got a crack at the back of the head. Painful.
Oh, painful, but also something that deserves complete attention from the medical staff anytime you get a knock on the head. And in fairness to O'Donoghue sort his knee in the process of that particular instant, and wouldn't be surprised actually if he is to go off, or if they take him off simply just to rest him up.
Well, James getting himself back up onto his feet again. The former St. Bridget's Belfast man now plays for Mallow, based in Cork for the last number of years. Ian Maguire is going to take this line ball. Back in here towards Mark Collins. Taken away by Maguire again. Storming forward, had some very good moments in the first half. This is Michael Hurley. Can be a real pace setter, this fellow. Inside towards Aidan Walsh, under a lot of pressure from Mikey Gainey. Kerry, you'd swear it was only a one-point game. They're so keen to win it, and Jack Barry comes out, fists it forward here. Gainey goes after it again. Cork are chasing Gainey. There's a support player here. It's Paul Murphy. Down he goes, free into Kerry. But they show their willingness, their appetite, their desire to be successful on their own Fitzgerald Stadium here this afternoon to win another Munster crown. It'll be Kerry's 79th. That was a rugby-style tackle there, and the referee is going to show the black book to Jamie O'Sullivan.
Well, I don't think Jamie O'Sullivan can have any complaints in that case. But again, this all goes back to very tentative Cork play once they get into the Kerry half of the field. Didn't seem to know what they were doing. Hurley got the ball first, seemed to make the decision. Then they ran out of ideas, but that's a great counter-attack from Cork, or from Kerry rather, and unfortunately for Cork, they end up by getting a black card for Jamie O'Sullivan. He can have no complaints, sure.
So we wait for the change, number 18 coming on in just a moment. Will be Barry John Keane for Kerry. Cork will be bringing on a change as well. Owen Cadigan is the one who's going to come in. First piece of football that he will have played this year. There he is, number 21. And number 26, Stephen Cronin, is also getting a run out. That would be the end of Cork's subs then. James O'Donoghue ready to hit this. This will be his 7th point of the match if he makes it. No error on his part, and it is now 19-10. It's sounding like a bad year from Cork's point of view. 9 behind, looking down and well and truly out. He's off, and Barry John Keane's got to come on.
There's no way that Eamon Fitzmaurice is going to risk James O'Donoghue aggravating that blow that he took to the knee. And as you said, game is over to all intents and purposes, unless it's a miracle from a Cork point of view.
So the black card substitution, as the public address man announces, and in comes Stephen Cronin as well. He was a real star here 2 years ago when Cork drew and very nearly won that Munster final, but for a last second point by Gunn Fitzgerald, and he comes on for James Lockery, who is injured. Cork today, quite frankly, a pale shadow of the team we saw attempting to win Munster here in Kerry 2 years ago. It's been a bad championship for them. Barely got over Waterford, struggled against Tipperary, in difficulty against Kerry, and Kerry have got a goal, and it is scored by Paul Gainey. It's come in the 64th minute. Gainey's got a goal and 4. This high ball coming in here, consternation at the back by Cork, who've never looked secure, and Gainey was on the prowl, and the ace predator gets a favourable knock in and pushes it past the goalkeeper and gets his 7th ever championship goal. It's 119 to 10 points.
Yeah, but you have to credit Gainey with wonderful anticipation that time. He knew immediately when the ball was in flight what Donaghy was going to do. He looped around Donaghy, had the composure to have his goal, but then when the initial save was made, just kept his head, flicked it to the net. That's a deserved goal for Kerry. Their forward play has just simply been far too impressive, far too good for Cork.
Darren O'Sullivan comes on in place of Kieran Donaghy. They're making those changes at the other end. We're watching Donegal O'Connor. Oh, there was a slap there. He's got to be careful.
Once more, that's very, very careless fouling. Very unnecessary foul conceded.
Referee immediately having a word there. Stephen O'Brien, number 19, and he's got himself a yellow card. It's got to be a free into Cork. 119 to 10 points. That's 22 points to 10 behind. We've got one back.
Yeah, just going back to Stephen O'Brien, okay, and card a yellow card there. He had a very impressive start to the second half when he came on and set it up to watch. And again, just a measure of his industry is the fact that he is back in a full-back position, trying to help out his defence.
Jonathan Lyne, who's an English teacher and a very fine player, comes on here late in the game to replace Mikey Gainey. Everybody has done well, I think, for Kerry. They've won all the battles, basically. They are well set up for the next stage of their journey to try and win back the Sam Maguire Cup. And this year, Eamon Fitzmaurice has been in the position of being able to add in some young players, add them to the squad, the likes of Jack Barry we've seen today, some others as well. They knock it around so confidently. Peter Crowley finally belted in there by Killian Young into the mix. This one is dealt with, swept away out of danger. Back out again it comes. In the second half so far, Kerry have got a goal and 8. Cork have just got 4 points. It tells its own story better than anything else. Michael Hurley back as far as Luke Connolly. Connolly chipping it in. Kerrigan waiting for it. Was there a foul? The referee says no. Kerry were expecting a free out. Cork have got a free in instead.
Yeah, well, that's the second time I've seen Kerrigan using his body like that. The first time the free went against him. This time maybe by way of compensation he's getting the free in.
I think Shane Enright was puzzled Free in anyway, which Donnacha O'Connor will take. Bit more shooting practice for Donnacha. Kerrigan goes short. They're going to try and work something. Oh, they work a point. Needed a goal. Needed a couple of goals.
They need a couple of goals indeed at this stage. They're not going to come as far as I can see, Ger. But going back to Kerry, you have to say that their influential core has delivered right throughout the field today, and their option taking has been exceptional. But given that, it is their teamwork that is the thing that has really impressed me, and their pace throughout the field.
It's a very good summation. Cork come again, and it's Michael Hurley knocking it back in here to Owen Cadigan. Luke Connolly been playing in fits and starts in this match, but the service has been dreadful. Tomas Clancy gets up.
Yeah, but there has been no diminishing whatsoever in the Kerry workload or in the Kerry work rate, even though they're so far ahead. It's a little bit like the ruthlessness that Dublin showed last weekend against Westmeath. We're seeing a reprise of that again today from Kerry.
Well, it's what you expect, Martin. You've no business playing at this level unless you are that ruthless and that determined. Donnacha O'Connor's got 4 points. He's got another one. Mostly frees, all bar one. But he will always play his part for Peadar Healy. Peadar, who was a selector when Cork won the All-Ireland back in 2010, long time ago now at this stage. And that's a great catch. That's Jack Barry, the new up-and-coming midfield star of Kerry football. In here as far as Killian Young's done so much for the team and for the county over the years. A mesmerising run through the heart of the Cork midfield. On it goes towards James O'Donoghue. Oh, it's not, it's Barry John Keane this time. O'Donoghue's gone. Jerry John Keane's in. Same style.
Yeah, but no proper defending whatsoever. The ease with which they're I think Jonathan or Killian Young, I think, was the one who carried the ball forward that time. But not a tackle, not a glove laid in him. Made it very easy ultimately for Keane to take a point.
Well, he's got that same devastating rush towards goal that James O'Donoghue possesses. Such an array of talent that they have got at their disposal. 10 minutes going to be added on.
Oh, that's going
Part of that for the injury of Fionn Fitzgerald, and the rest for normal wastage, as you would have at any football match during the second half.
Well, I think
120 to 13 points.
It's only going to prolong Cork's agony, because there's no way they can come back from the deficit that they're experiencing at the moment.
Jack Barry. Buckley turns smartly. His new marker is Stephen Cronin. This is out as far as Stephen O'Brien as well. He started the second half in such whirlwind fashion. He's got a third point now. Timely reminder to the team management of what he's able to do, which is strike with great accuracy and make it 121 to 13 points.
Well, certainly he's thrown down a marker today. The cameo he's had throughout the second half, he's been very, very good. His accuracy is commendable, but his work rate also. I've seen him a number of times tracking back into his own defence, and he's certainly given him and Fitzmaurice something to think about.
Cork come again. When the public address announced just a moment ago that there were going to be 10 extra minutes, you could almost hear the Kerry fans saying yippee. You could almost hear the Cork fans saying, oh God, no. Once more they go forward, and this time it's Darren O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan back out it comes here. Jonathan Lyne was involved. Darren O'Sullivan back out towards Paul Murphy, up into the air but lacking direction. Missed opportunity.
But it's just the never-ending movement of the Kerry attack. Their angles of running, their ability to support, and the regularity then of their shooting at goal.
Just look at the scoreline. 121 for Kerry. Number of wides, 3.
3, yeah.
Absolutely impeccable.
They're so efficient and economical in front of posts. Their option taking is outstanding. That last effort was an exception to what they have been like all day. But then when you have late in the game the likes of Darren O'Sullivan coming in, it just tells you the range of options they have on the bench.
And of the 121, 115 has come from open play. Hugely impressive performance. Mark Griffin in difficulty, but he wants to stay on.
He wants to stay on, certainly aiming for...
What's an old injury, he's saying?
Yeah, probably he wouldn't like to see two of his full back line actually going off injured today, John Fitzgerald and Mark Griffin. But Griffin, I think, took a knock. He was writhing in agony down at Lowe's for a while, but he's okay again.
They've used all their subs anyway, Martin.
Yeah.
Ian Maguire. A game where Cork were in difficulty after 5 minutes, and after 10 minutes they were 6 points down. Cork got back to within 3, and then started the second half. Kerry simply demolished the Cork challenge, such as it was again early on, reeling off 4 quick points, and the pattern just continued and continued. And then a goal after 64 minutes scored by Paul Gainey. Cork come back, and even then they can't find the back of the net through Luke Connolly. Over the bar instead.
Oh, that was a gift.
Goal was gaping.
An absolute gift, Spurn, that time. Lovely play for Doug O'Connor. Knew exactly what to do. Got the high ball. A little bit like what happened with Donaghy earlier on in the game, or that when he set up the Kerry goal. But that time there was a complete lack of composure on the part of Connolly.
It's a 10-point lead right now for Kerry. Will it be a 10-point victory? Stephen O'Brien trying to inflict further punishment. Back down again here. Gainey picking it up, tormenting his marker, giving it off to Darren O'Sullivan, trying to steal it inside the right-hand post. Unable to steer it in there, however.
Well, I suppose the match as a contest finished an age ago, to be honest about it, Ger. Maybe the couple of goal chances that Cork had, created for themselves, had they been eventually finished, might have made a game of it, but it's been really very, very dreary for the last 10 minutes or so.
Well, Cork are going to have to try and pick it up again when it gets to the 4th round of the qualifiers. That's where they will come in by virtue of being beaten Munster finalists. Kerry will go straight to the quarter-finals, and they look good. Paul Kerrigan all the way in here, this time taken well by Donaghy O'Connor. Awkward angle, trying to somehow steal it in over the goalkeeper's reach, but unable to do so. Jonathan Lyne able to take it away. Darren O'Sullivan coming deep. Quick hand pass. At the moment Cork are even a man down because their number 4, Sean Powter, has gone off injured, and they've used all their subs. Stephen O'Brien. Referee saw a double hop.
Yep.
Owen Cadogan almost played 5 minutes of additional time. Michael Hurley carrying it on. Knock it over the bar anyway. That one has just gone outside. Missed opportunity, so it's wide number 10. They're going to have to somehow get themselves together very, very quickly with the qualifiers fast approaching.
Yeah, they haven't been
otherwise the year is over.
No, very much so. And they look to be a team very, very low morale at the moment, and certainly they will be further deflated by the quality or lack of quality of this performance.
They might have hoped to come out and give a performance in the second half, but they're putting it on now, and the match is well and truly beyond them. Donaghy O'Connor slipping it in towards Luke Connolly. He had a goal chance. We remember Tomas Clancy very nearly got one in, but hit the side netting instead. Darren O'Sullivan does well, keeps it away from his man. Tomas Clancy after him, Maguire after him as well. They've got one goal already. They'll be quite content with a point, and that will have to do.
Yeah, they were queuing up that time. I think the ball could have been flicked across 2 or 3 players. Just watch, we're open support for Kerry that time, but just take the point. Spared any more misery for Cork really by putting another goal.
It's a goal and 5 for Paul Gainey.
Yeah, he's been outstanding for Kerry today, but as have all the Kerry forwards. They are so impressive to watch. Other teams will certainly stand up or kind of sit back and look at them and say, this is one group of guys, if once they get into Croke Park, they're going to be the main threat to Dublin winning, going for a 3 in a row.
At no stage did Cork look convincing from the throw-in, from the word go, when David Moran won that and drove at the heart of the Cork defence. They always looked quite porous at the back. They never looked remotely convincing.
Yes, and on top of that, they need a much more obdurate defence and a stingier defence. They were so open today from the word go, Ger.
And paid the price as a result. Colm O'Driscoll inside towards Alan O'Connor. This kind of a defeat will really have hurt a player like Alan O'Connor. Great play again by Darren O'Sullivan. So much to admire about Kerry's wonderfully fluent. This time, little bit too much movement on the part of Barry John Keane, taking steps.
And you have to commend their work rate. Every Kerry player at that time was behind the ball.
Back Donegal O'Connor in what has turned out to be a very one-sided Munster football final. Let's hope the Leinster hurling final is a good deal better coming up shortly. Donegal O'Connor in, easily gathered in with a little second go at it by Jonathan Lyon. Referee, what is he doing? Looking to...
I'm not sure what he's doing, Gerard.
Thought he was going to call somebody towards him. I think he was just saying to Kerry, bring the ball out. 2 minutes or thereabouts remaining of the injury time.
But Gerard, hasn't the decision-making of the Kerry players been absolutely exceptional today? It's been a joy.
They've been playing at a higher level. They're quicker in everything that they do.
And in particular, quicker of thought.
Got to give an awful lot of credit as well to their manager, Eamon Fitzmaurice, and his management team. They knew that an awful lot of people in Kerry were saying, we are too confident, maybe overconfident that Kerry are going to win. And they were worried about that, and they were so determined that their side would start properly. They did. And now they're finishing properly as well. Totally in command of this match, which is now 70 seconds from its conclusion. Barry John Keane. Nicely down. Shane Enright. He's only once scored in the championship. That goes off a post. He's got a second point in his championship career.
And as you say, a bit of a collector's item that, Ger. Seldom you see him up in the other half of the field. He'll be happy with that.
The margin is 12 points. Thoroughly satisfying victory for Kerry. Chance for them to move on.
Yeah, and the move on with menace, actually, with purpose into the All-Ireland series. They've thrown down a marker today, and they show they really mean business.
But they should realise they're going to hit tougher challenges than this one in the road ahead. Quarter-final beckons for them. Mark Collins back towards Owen Cadigan, carried on by Michael Hurley. Disjointed performance, really. Pushing the back there by Paul Murphy. Free kick. Might just shave a point off the winning margin. Won't do anything else. Donegal O'Connor with 4 points already. So we've played the 10 minutes. Another one for Donegal O'Connor. The final whistle sounds, and Kerry have won here very, very convincingly. Patrick Healy can have no qualms about it. There was only one team in it, quite truthfully, and that was the Kingdom, managed by Eamon Fitzmaurice. The managers exchange a couple of words. It's Kerry who move on. They have won the Munster final. Kerry 123, Cork 15 points. Kerry Munster champions for the 79th time. Well,